What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. Before we get into this episode is brought to you by StockX. And if you like watches the way that I do, you got to know about StockX. Why? StockX is the world's first online stock market of things for high-demand consumer products, including sneakers, watches, and handbags. StockX connects buyers and sellers using the same methodology as the world's stock market. An anonymous live bid ask market. All products are physically authenticated by StockX, allowing participants to focus on the transparency of data available, including real-time market pricing, in-depth market analysis, individual portfolio tracking, historical sales, and volume metrics. That means no stressing about shady buyers and sellers, no lengthy descriptions, and no blurry pictures to decipher. All you have to worry about is finding the watch you want and placing a bid you feel comfortable with. StockX makes buying and selling watches online a lot better. Trust me, give it a try yourself at StockXWatches.com. That's StockXWatches.com. And I can say as totally independent, I have actually used StockX as a consumer to buy my gold G-Shock, and it was good. So we're happy to have them. StockXWatches.com. Check them out. We are also sponsored by Beeline Coffee. We know it. We love it. We drink it every single day, multiple times a day. I have the new Smoking Tire Roast 2.0 is out. You can tell the difference from the bag because it's got my Safari 911 on the bag instead of the Mustang. It's also from Costa Rica instead of from Honduras. It is delicious. It is an evolution of the last flavor. And if you use code TST at checkout, you get 15% off anything in the Beeline Coffee store. That includes the Smoking Tire Roast. 15% off with code TST at BeelineCoffee.com. And last not least, if you're into watches, check out my podcast with Cameron Weiss, the master watchmaker. It's called Watch and Listen Podcast. You can get it on YouTube, get it on iTunes, or anywhere you download podcasts. It's sponsored by Crown & Caliber, and we explore in depth for an hour every week stories in the world of watches. And you don't have, it's not set up for the super nerd. It's set up for someone who is just starting to be interested in watches or is casually interested and wants to learn more. It's a good show. Watch and Listen Podcast. I love doing it. Okay, here we go. This episode should be good. This past weekend, I was racing in the American Endurance Racing Series at NCM Motorsport National Corvette Museum Motorsports Park in Kentucky on a team with my friend Jack Baruth at Road and Track and some other dudes, including this guy, Kevin Madsen. Kevin is a pro driver. He's a stunt driver for movies and TV. He's a racing driver, and he's a driver coach who uses a lot of telemetry to help people get better at driving. It's a fun time hanging out with him. Good dude, Mr. Kevin Madsen. Here we go. Yo, it's the Smoking Tire Podcast. Hi, it's an afternoon. It's a beautiful day outside. We almost want to like pack up this whole studio and like put it on my porch because it's so fucking nice outside. It's a shame to be in a dark room, but it's a good day to be back at work, actually, because I've been out of work for quite some time fucking around with this fool. Mr. Kevin Madsen is in the house. Hello, sir.
How's it going, my man?
Welcome.
It's been a couple of days. It's been a
really long time.
Sweating in Kentucky. We're sweating in Cali.
It's been 2 whole days since I saw you. Kevin is a racing driver, a movie and TV stunt driver, commercial driver. You're an instructor at several like well-known places.
Joined me at most, yeah.
Yeah, you're the reason I got in the EXR. I don't know if you're the reason I got in the EXR car the first time, but you're definitely the reason I got in it the second time at Laguna, and you're also the reason I got in the Crosskarts. Mm-hmm. And I got to race alongside you this weekend.
Yeah, on the same team. Yeah,
on the same team.
Not literally alongside. It would be weird when
alongside,
I was both in the car at
yeah,
the same
I was the
time,
riding mechanic. Like it was a 1921 Bentley, and I was hanging out the fuck. No, yeah, it's in endurance racing as a teammates, which is awesome. We were just talking very briefly about Pride. I this morning did Ross Bentley's podcast.
Yeah,
Ross Bentley is like an icon.
He's one of my mentors. He told me that you were on, and I'm doing actually a podcast with Ross pretty soon.
Oh yeah, well he said to say hello.
Yeah.
And he was happy that we got to race together, and he said he wants in on the next one, and I was like, dude, if Madsen's there and Ross Bentley shows up, I could never be happier to be the slowest person on that team. Like how much, like the data that you could learn from that driving experience would be like so crazy.
And it would I would sit back and let the master do his work. So I still learn a lot from him. He's fantastic.
Is he as good of a... So Ross Bentley, for those who don't know, wrote a book called Speed Secrets and is pretty much like a coaching legend. When I spoke to him, he was like, he's flying to the Red Bull ring today to coach fucking who knows who, I don't even know who it was. But
very busy, yeah.
Yeah. And he's doing this thing at the Nürburgring with the RSR guys, with Ron Simmons, that I want to go do really badly. Yeah. But he seems awesome.
Yeah, and the thing, Ross is so humble. It's not just the Canadian nature, but he's driven some cars. He's super quick, and his knowledge, and he's never one to sometimes I talk a lot, or you know that, and I'll talk quickly. He's a kind of a listener, and I've learned a lot from him in that regard, is that you can learn a lot from the person you're coaching by just kind of sitting back a little bit and watching what they're doing, the way they're reacting psychology-wise, and really the mental aspect is, I've got a couple different mentors, but he has really been the most as far as helping me with the folks I coach on the mental side, like getting in their heads and seeing what they really need to progress. Yeah,
why do you think, is it as simple as ego that people are like, it's hard to coach them?
Sometimes. We see that a little bit. So at Exotics Racing, right? I'm the lead instructor out there. And
So I said some prestigious places. So I want to let you to talk about exactly what you're talking about, but drop some of the places.
Sure. And there's my family doesn't really understand. They're like, how many jobs do you have today, right? So
you have the LA hustle, like I have the LA hustle. It's like if you have less than 6 jobs, like you're not making any fucking money in this city.
No, and you can learn so much from everyone at these different. Like I've got a mentor at each one, right? And so Exotics Racing is fantastic out in Los Angeles. It's in Fontana. And at the end, I've got a number of these groups who've offered to kind of give a special deal for your listeners. So we'll talk about that.
Oh yeah, I guess we're gonna we can put it all in the podcast descriptions. Like I guess you wrote down like a whole list of discount codes.
Yeah, if I'm going to mention someone on air, it's not just going to be a plug for me or for them. I want to make sure your listeners get a little bit of love. So yeah, there's some good stuff there. But Exotics is one, and so I train all the folks out there at the LA branch, and I still learn a lot from the guys out in Vegas, Fred Joy and Dave Roberts. Some legends out there, as well as the owners who you met. Roman and David are fantastic.
I like those guys. They're nice. They're nice people, and the course, considering it's like I don't want to say it's not a real track because it kind of is, but like considering it's like in a parking lot, it's pretty much it's pretty real of a track actually.
Super safe, and that's the key. But it's not an autocross by any means. You got a wide track. It's normal track width, and
it's paved properly.
Yeah, 1.2 miles. You've got 8 turns, and the instructors that we have out there, they're going to push you. So it's not, it may be a 5-lap experience. It's pretty quick, and you could get a lot more. You could do HPDs out there with our cars, but you get in, they're going to push you.
Oh, do they have full HPDs there?
We got a full day where you can hop in a GT3 or a 458 Italia, really? And we will build you up. We'll do data, and so it's cool. The same sort of stuff we're doing here. So it's pretty neat. So
that would be beneficial, actually. I think.
It would, yeah. In the sense that there's a lot of folks that do come out and get that 5-lap experience. Cool, I checked off the Lambo. Like I remember you went out with Nick Romano. And you vetoed his shifting on that one.
Yeah, I don't like being told to fucking change gear. It's a pet peeve of mine.
No, I got you on there, and there was some policy at that point. He was doing his job.
I don't like, and I really don't like policies. It's really more about the policies.
And most folks don't. Yeah, there's a reason. And the average person coming out there, in that sense, would get a lot more from that car in 4th. You could get the max out of it in 3rd. So it's just one of those things.
It's not that I didn't appreciate where that dude was coming from. Like he was a perfectly nice guy acting according to his job description, and that's not his fault. She was chill as fuck.
But the internet is not kind to those guys. In fact, I think
nor should they be. I side with the internet 100% on that one. I really fucking do.
I remember looking at the comments and I was like, oh, poor Nick. But if on the opposite side, if you remember when you and I were in the EXR series car, so that's that 230 horse, 1,800 pound car, we're ripping around, and then the camera comes flying off.
You were a boss.
And as you know, I do a lot of camera work, so movies and that sort of stuff. And so I just grab the camera, look at it. All right, it's upside down, and I just kind of hold it. Now, the big key with us and a lot of right seat coaches would say, you still need that left hand to be available. You still need to be focused on the safety, which I did the entire time. But my right hand was now, instead of bracing myself, was now getting some pretty sick.
Yeah, why have a
you.
harness if you need to brace yourself? To use that fucking hand for something, bro. You did such a good job. That
the
video,
comments were very kind to me, which is the only time I think
because
in
you were
history
such
where,
a boss. most coaches, I don't think, would have the wherewithal to do the camera work that you did, while being bounced around and also coach. It was impressive.
No, it was
Go
fun.
watch that video if you haven't. It's the EXR
LV02, like Las Vegas 02. Yeah.
They just can't come up with a name that has any SEO value at all. That's what, Kevin has gotten me in
with the Crosskarts
so
too,
many awesome cars that no one has given a shit about the videos. It's been so sad because the experiences that I've had in the cars have been so good. Like the EXR car is like really fun.
Yeah.
The video is pretty neat. The Crosskart thing was the best driving ever. That 750.
You look at, and you even admitted before that you're not a pro driver, but you can wheel it. Watch that video, folks. Go to, I forget it's Fast and Speed USA that builds them. They build them from the ground up, and I'm a brand ambassador for them as well. So another job. And I drive with them all season. We drive it at Paris Auto Speedway, and we built a track actually up at Thunderhill Raceway. It's 0.8 miles, got about 86 feet of elevation change at 0.8 miles. You got to try that one.
I need to. It's just, I did some math. I love Thunderhill so much because a bunch of people have asked me to do things at Thunderhill. We were at NCM, which is where we raced last weekend. Yeah. It's in fucking Kentucky, folks. And I did some math, and it would take me longer to get to Thunderhill from LA.
You could do LA to Sac, and it's an hour, but I feel you,
dude. It's in the middle of nowhere. I think Thunderhill might be one of the most. I asked John, the head of AER, I was like, can you think of a more remote track than Thunderhill? And he could not.
Yeah, it's possible. But
I love it.
Again, the cool is it's built from the ground up. So that's another one. So we got the Crosskart and the Sprinter buggy. And I think when you look at the Sprinter buggy or you just Google that, right, it doesn't, they're rally cross.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's European
open wheel rally
cross. But it's one of those things where it's affordable rallycross racing. We're filling seats for insanely cheap. Like you got to get out at Paris Auto Speedway for 4th of July. We had about 10,000 people.
How aggressive is Tim? Can you pull up a picture of a 750cc Crosskart, or even just my video?
They're like Fast and Speed USA. You could type in. And so Fast and Speed, they build the race of champion vehicles, so the ones like Schumacher and all them that have driven each year. And so now this is more the off-road variant, and here in the USA, so Igor Palagin builds them from the ground up.
Yeah, that's the car.
Yeah, there you go. That's Bucky's. That's the one you drove.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
Literally Bucky's right there. So 750, about 160 horsepower, about 660 pounds.
It was so
and it's how easy is it to drive, though?
Well, easy in terms of the steering is so fast that it's basically like driving a go-kart with gears. It's much more like a loose shifter kart than it is like a car, but man, did my forearms get a workout.
You get a pump. Just like when you go to K1 Speed or something, you're going to get that pump in your karting. But
yeah, you got to really work on your biceps and get your upper body going. I don't know what I did, 8 minutes, 9 minutes continuous or something.
Yep.
And I was exhausted.
And the heat races for us aren't that long either, so that's the cool part. And I've got folks that come from the road racing. Like I came into this, I'm running a full season, and I'm very fortunate to be partnered with Alejandro Fernandez, who is a global rallycross racer. I guess it's American Rallycross now.
It's ARX, right?
Yeah, ARX. So we've got the points lead right now in the whole deal, and there's about 10 or so people who've been racing. And I brought others in from, like Lisa Clark races in Ferrari Challenge, and some others who do IMSA and other sorts of racing that is paved, and they've never slid a car, right? Or at least not tried to.
Yeah.
And so now they come out and you can see some of the videos. Lisa's just nailing it. And so sure enough,
it's not hard the sliding is not hard.
It's a great place to learn how to slide. And again, you're in front of a crowd down there. It's a pretty cool little deal. So
you said 15,000 people.
There was over 10,000 for 4th of July.
Tim,
and
can you get a picture of Paris Auto Speedway?
It was standing room only out there. Now most of the races they say
maybe add the word Crosskart and see if we can get what it looks like. This place is like a half-mile dirt oval, maybe third-mile dirt oval. It's not big.
We run in the center, so it's a total of 7 turns. So it's a road course still. So it's true rallycross.
It's the same configuration I drove, right? Yeah.
I forgot about that.
It's all zoomed in on the cars, huh?
Yeah.
No big wides.
No, but it was a pretty cool deal, very American, and we have a lot of fun out there. And so right now you can show up and we throw you in the car, and you're paying for the seat. And if you
that was a picture set up for a figure 8 race. Mm-hmm. fucking
yeah, look at that. So you can see, and that's not even all the stands. The stands wrap around around the side. Now, an average night, you're getting about 4,000 or so people there, but for that 4th of July race, it was packed, standing room only. Pretty cool. So for the average person, it was road racing. How many people were watching us at NCM?
0.
Yes, so that's
0.
road racing. Like
there was one fan, actually, shout out. There was one fan who
they hooked
showed
you up.
Yeah, his fan shows up, and he goes, "Hey, I love your show." I go, "Oh, thanks, man." He goes, "I got something for you." And I was like, "Oh God." He said it in such like a fucking serial killer way. I was like, "I am gonna die in a racing suit." Okay, here's how this goes. And he goes, "Come on over here." And he took me over to his car, and he gave me some weed. I was like, "Yes." It was Kentucky bluegrass.
This is stuff that does not happen to pro drivers. Like that would be the end for me.
It doesn't. Pro drivers get to get tested. That's why I just get to play. I didn't smoke the weed during the race, but I don't know your name, and even if I did, I wouldn't say it on this program. But thank you for that weed.
Cool. You were excited. It changed the mood for sure.
What do you mean change? I was in a pretty good mood all weekend.
Tired, man. I think it was after your stint, right?
It was right after the stint.
Yeah,
although I have to be honest, I have done a lot of gym work in the last 6 months since I last did. The last road race I did was 24 hours of VIR last August.
That's a tough track, yeah.
It was a tough track. It was hot as fucking balls. It was brutal. And I did a 2.5 hour stint. I did the longest stint I've ever driven, and I was like, I collapsed afterwards. Yeah. But after the stint at NCM, I was a lot less tired. Going to the gym really did pay off. Though I was not less tired. It was great. Should we talk about that race?
Let's do it, man. Yeah, I'm excited about it. It was cool, and so one of the reasons why I think I always like listening to you is because it's a guy that you kind of picture like this guy can grab a beer with, right? And then the key here is, and so that's probably why a lot of listeners enjoy it too, that you actually, on the journalist side, sometimes for us and a lot of the pro coaches that are listening in and that coach and sit right seat, my buddies at Porsche Experience Center LA and all these different venues I work at, you start to meet some journalists and you're like, no offense, but you're like, I got to ride right seat with this guy. And the challenge, as you mentioned,
there's some bad driving, and I don't like throwing stones because I've had crashes, and I'm not above crashing, but it's one thing to have a crash once in a while, and it's another to be like, that person doesn't know how to move their hands.
Yeah, and it's okay to not be the greatest, and that's what our job is to improve folks, but it's one with, I think like you were mentioning earlier, the ego, and sometimes that comes along with, hey, I've got this many viewers, and I know how to drive a car, and just keep your hands off the wheel and just sit there, and so that's the challenge. But with you, one of the reasons why I've liked it from the beginning and why I continue to invite you out and why I invite other select journalists out.
Hey, Tim, can I have some water? Yeah.
Is that you respond well to the coaching. And for instance, let's go back to that EXR LVO2 video. When we're inside the car, you're like, hey, I got to do the filming, blah, blah. And I'm like, cool, I'm just going to shut up, like, unless you make a significant mistake. And then I got to the point where I saw where you were making some mistakes, and I was like, hey, give me one lap. And I gave you that one lap where I just coached you through the whole lap, and then you laid down your fastest on the next one, while you're talking. And so that's been the cool part about you. And so I actually was really excited to see how you performed when we were out at NCM. And we're not racing Formula One.
I know. I almost wish that because I did some laps. Kevin gave me some coaching, and then the next time I went out, the car had different tires on it, and so I went a lot faster, but I don't know how much the tires did it and how much was me, and I can't give too much credit either way.
Yeah, it's probably a mixture of both, but it's one of those things where I mean, overall, I'm looking at the consistency as well. And then I'm honestly, man, I don't want to tell you too much about what I'm looking for, but even on the mental side, I'm looking at how you're acting before you get inside the car, your confidence level. You were certainly more confident on the first day because you're starting and you have a really good strength to start. Like you passed 3 guys. I don't know if the listeners know that. You passed 3 guys in class in the first lap, and granted those there with Mustang.
I held those the Mustang was not a good contender. 500
horsepower.
It was insane, broken or something. It wasn't doing well, but like those other 2 guys, I did hold off for like 22 laps or something.
Yeah, and in the first lap, and it wasn't like what you're thinking is that you dove in. You just waited. Like a lot of people have adrenaline high at the beginning, and it's very exciting. You can't hear your own car. There's so many cars around, and that attributes to them making mistakes. And that's exactly what happens. You just picked them off one by one, and that was neat to see. And you don't see that with every journalist. You don't see that with every first person that you're kind of working with and coaching. So it was exciting to see. And then the second day, I did, and I'm not beating up on you, see that you were a little bit more nervous, and we put you in the car a little bit later on. And it's one of those things where you're like, think about if it was a boxing match, right? And it was like tag team boxing or like wrestling, like, hey, jump in the ring. Well, what's been going on in the ring? How's it look? Like you don't know what's going on.
It's weird. Something about getting, in other races, not so much with this car, with Jack and Charlie's, or Charlie and Jack. It's actually Charlie's car. I don't want to give her any less credit
they are great.
than she is due for owning the car.
Jack's from Road and Track. I'm sure most people know.
Yeah, Jack Baruth and Charlie Baruth, his lovely wife, Danger Girl, and etc. But sometimes when you get in a cheap race car late in an endurance race, shit is a little weird. Shit's a little funky, and it's hard to take feedback from a driver getting out of that car mid-race because they don't know how it felt when you drove it the day before. And when I as I said, I talked about this with Ross earlier, I still have a little bit of the fear, just of I sometimes have the fear of equipment failure, and I sometimes have the fear of a super high speed irrecoverable wobble, and I don't have the last like 3% that someone like you or a really experienced racing driver has. And that's why like I can only ever be a recreational racing driver, because I don't have the need to get that last bit. I'm comfortable running myself at 95% and being pretty damn sure I'm not going to have a crash there, because in endurance racing, there's a job for someone like that.
Yeah.
I'm a good teammate in endurance racing because I can run pretty close to the fast guys, but I can do it a dozen laps in a row, and I can run consistent for a whole stint and
keep the car safe.
Keep the car good.
You had no contact the entire weekend, so that's key.
No, it wasn't that hard. There was fucking 17 cars on the grid. It was weird. It was wasn't it strange? It's a 3.2 mile course, I think, right?
3.25, I think.
And there was
23 turns. Yeah.
I don't know if it was because it was in Kentucky or if it was because it's tangential to 4th of July, but whatever it was, there's normally 60 to 90 cars in one of these races. There was 17.
Yeah.
So it was
made
like
it easy, but
it was like a private track day.
It was nice. There were times where I was ripping around the track for a few laps and I had nobody front or rear, and I was like, did I miss a flag? I didn't, of course, but it was just one of those deals where you're like, okay, this is pretty cool.
I think I did 10 laps by myself at one point.
You can get into good flow, and that's one of the things you were talking about Ross Bentley, and for some of your listeners, if you really are into improving, you should listen to his podcast as well. This is one of my favorites, and Ross too.
I really enjoyed doing his podcast. I liked his questions a lot. He took a good angle.
One of the ones I listened to before I went to NCM Motorsports Park had to do with, and I forget the gentleman's name, but he was great. He brings in guys from different industries. That's what I love. And the guy was talking about flow, mental flow, and getting into that. And if you've ever really thought about it, it's not something I've ever quantified, but when you get out there and you start getting into a rhythm, and for me, when I start to kind of know that I'm there in an endurance race, is that I look over at like the timer or what have you, or I get a radio call, and I was kind of like, did I just run the same lap time as last one? Like I don't really need to think about each thing I'm doing, except usually at the straightaways is kind of where I do my mental checkup, where I do a big deep breath, I check the gauges, and then I think about if I need to do a radio call, and I do that 3 times per lap out at NCM. So that was really cool, was to be able to say like, all right, cool. So now I got the flow from what this guy said, and I can quantify what it is, and I need to get into it. And then there was other times, right, like where Jack came in on the radio and it's like, hey, you're doing great. You have put us in first place, and we're now a minute and 10 seconds ahead, and this is great. And so now you're like, that's interesting to think about instead, because that's not a goal, right? I've already reached a goal. So instead, like things that are sometimes more helpful is when I took that data, I took it back in, and I talked about this with Christian Mental Ward, Air Force.
It's an appropriate nickname.
It is. A great guy, great, and I have a huge love for the Air Force with my brother and cousin who've served. And so anyhow, so I'm talking with Christian about it. Is that at that point when I got that information, that could sometimes sway you, right? It could make you slow up a little bit. It could make, it could like, what's my goal? I've already done it, right? So instead, what I did at that point, and Menno was really, he took something from this, is I took at that point, what could make that go away? And so I took a look at, all right, well, the car, right? Yeah. And so I looked at it, all right, so what am I doing right now that could affect the car and prevent it from continuing on for my double stint? It was like a 3-hour stint. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, he got team captain decided to make Kevin do a double.
You're doing so good that you need to stay in. So
well, that happens, right? If you're on a fucking roll, right? If you're like lapping people and getting us, a cushion, and the car's running good, and you've got water and you're, capable. Fuck it.
Go. It was fun. No, and Jack's strategy, and hopefully it's covered well in Road and Track. I know he's a humble guy, but it's amazing. And Charlie, like the two of them working together in the little huddles we have. Yeah. I feel like we're truly in like a IMSA World Challenge pit, but it's
they
AER.
Take it real seriously.
Cool.
And a lot of the other teams take it pretty seriously, as well. And
but not so serious with Jack that like I told him that there was yelling or that there was that it was more of a family atmosphere, like a good family atmosphere. And I really enjoyed it. And that's one of the things where I can, the weekends for me are typically where I make my most money on the private coaching. And so to go out and do the racing, it's got to make sense. And this really did make sense. So it was a great time. But going back to what I did when I got that information from Jack and what I guess a tidbit maybe for some of your listeners that do some racing or even a track day, is if you get to that point where you're like, I've reached my goal, there should always be more of a goal. And that's something that Ross would even tell you. And what I did at that point was look at what could go wrong. So I took the fact that the car could be, what if the car breaks, which it later did. Yeah, but the key was I looked at, all right, well, I'm already short shifting. And I was told to carry a certain pace, and that's what I did. And I knew that I could carry that pace by short shifting and saving the car, keeping the temp slow, and also saving myself because I knew I had to do a double stint at that point. So, all right, cool. So the car's good. How about me? All right, well, I've been out on track for 90 minutes without any water, and it's a really hot day. I've got my OMP racing gear, which they sent me, which is amazing. Like it was cool. Like, literally, I'd stick a hand out the window and cool down, but fantastic ventilation. Same thing with the G-Force racing helmet I had, the new Revo Carbon.
Slick plug, sir.
Yeah, no, it would help me out and get the air circulating through. So good gear, right?
Visor
so I'm
up?
set.
Are you a visor up or visor down?
Not at all. No, I stress about fire, even in a maybe slower car like that. But visor down for sure. They sent me out the day before I knew I was kind of looking at weather. And I already had a really dark visor, so they sent me one that wasn't so dark, and that was helpful. So I changed that in.
In a car like that, I'm visor up. I got great sunglasses. They get real.
Yeah, talk about a plug. Let's talk about.
No,
those.
it's not about. I'm not even gonna say the fucking name. How about that, bitch? Won't even say it. I ain't even gonna say the name.
Those are great. The non-reflective.
If the situation really is a hairy one that calls for it, but I feel like there isn't a fire that's going to happen in that little Miata where I wouldn't be able to thunk before my face caught on fire.
Well, it's one of the things like AER has that rule
when you're fueling
where it's down, and that tells you something. I mean, it's there for safety, but
when you're pouring fucking fuel over hot brakes and shit.
Yeah, but you go upside down, and that car didn't have a fuel cell. It's just a stock tank, and stuff can leak. Anyhow, I just saw a lot of people doing it, so it's not just you, so don't get me wrong. But for me, I am visor down. That's just what I'm used to. Debris, all sorts of stuff I worry about. But anyhow, so those were the things I was going through and looking at what could go wrong in the car. And it turned out, it ended up being the car. But I looked at everything, like me mentally, I think I was fine. That's why I told them, hey, let's go for it. And I even said on the radio, which I wouldn't say at a pro level race, but I was like, hey, can you ask the rest of the team? Like, I don't want to take away somebody else's drive spot. And he was like,
in a team full of gentleman drivers. We actually have. Did you see the email from Bozy?
I did.
Our email,
from the Boost Brothers,
our tech, Bozy, who's like the smart one. Oh man, it's a long email. But so basically, we were dealing with temperature issues. Mm-hmm. It was overheating, and it came down and then back up. It was a weird one because there was no obvious, like, usually there's like a coolant leak that's like, oh, this is broken and leaking coolant everywhere. But there wasn't that. So here's what happened. From Bozy. 1, during qualifying on Friday, the radiator fan burned out, which caused temperatures to spike. Who was driving when that happened?
On Friday?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean, I wasn't on Friday at that point.
I drove like 30 laps on Friday and had no problem. It wasn't me.
Who was last, maybe?
I don't know, but it wasn't me. So anyway, they replaced the fan with a universal fan from O'Reilly and verified that it worked. 2, on Saturday, we put the car on track, and after 7 hours, during my stint, the car was rock and roll. The car was great on Saturday. After 7 hours, it overheated. By the time we got back, it overheated with you driving.
Yeah.
So it went from, in like 45 seconds, it went from...
Less, yeah. So we looked at, and that's one of the things where things can always happen in your head one way, and then you want to check it afterwards. And I'm so OCD, I've got the data system set up in the car, I brought all that along. And what we saw when we reviewed the video was that as we go, and I'm not sure, folks are listening, but if you have a track map, there's a ladder section of the course, turns 15 and 16, where you kind of go uphill and over a crest. So just before that, there's a long straightaway called the tabletop between 14 and 15. That's one of the areas of the track where I would check my gauges. And I looked down, I checked, cool, we're running about 204, 206 at that point, which is still within range. 230 is shut down. And so we come through the corner, and I just notice as I get kind of dive into 18, 19 really sharp by the pit that I'm getting some lights. I get 3 lights right in your mid corner, and I look down, and then 255. So for it to go that quickly, that many degrees is insane. And we saw it afterwards. That's exactly what happened, and it hadn't peaked beforehand as I look at the data. So I was ready to pull off the track. There was no response, so I kept putting along in 6th gear. Then I went to neutral just to cool it down, and then they were like, "Hey, just shifted 6,000," and I'm like, I think I got to get off the track. It's like 255. I would shut it down if it was my car. And so we finally did, when I got around, and it just didn't, it got down a little bit lower. So we don't know what it really was at that point, but it looks like Bosie's got something worked out.
The exact same thing. So that was on Saturday. So that was the end of our race, unfortunately, because we were, I think we were in the lead.
We were in the lead by a minute and 10 from what Jack said, and I don't know how much time. I think we had like 45 minutes to go. Man. It was like going to be end of my stint plus another one.
Yeah, it was a bummer. It was off. It was a podium loss, and so by the time we got back to the garage, he says there was no traces of a leak anywhere, so we suspected a broken water pump or thermostat and replaced both. We checked the hoses and the expansion tank, and shout out to my Instagram fan that called that was the eventual problem. Everything was clear. They filled up the system, burped it, and drove around the paddock until security got mad. At this point, temps were stable, but you can only do so much in the paddock, and that was like 11 o'clock at night. They put the car back on track, and then during my stint, the same thing that Kevin just described, running fine, and then in this one section of track, where you go through a series of high G corners, and it kind of is high G in all directions almost through that section.
Yeah, kind of up, down, right,
left, right. Yeah, and so anyway, they swapped the expansion tank for the one out of Charlie's road car and put it back on track without overheating. So they found out it was the expansion tank. It was expanding where it was molded together and leaking from there. So it would only do it under high temperature, so there was no visual cracks in the garage. They couldn't replicate that.
And shout out to, in addition, Sean Bird, who was one of the Facebook buddies who's big into the NC Miatas, who kind of confirmed that's the route we should go. I think it was one of your readers, and then Sean that jumped in on that, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that was the problem, and we're getting a reinforced aluminum reservoir from Flying Miata in the next few weeks. And there it is, folks. So that's racing. It's sad, and it was it's a bummer. I'm glad we didn't blow the motor up or anything like that. It got hot. I saw 270.
Oh my god! You always got to one up me, man.
Well, no, it's in engine temperatures. That's a brag. I got the fucking coolant hotter than you, bro.
I'll try harder next time.
You got fucking. I almost.
Meanwhile, Jack says neither one of these guys is coming back. So.
I got closer to blowing it up than you, bro. No, mine went from when I would go through that section, it would go from 205, 210 to 240, right through that section, and then I would short shift 5th and 6th front straight, and by the end of the front straight, it would be at 215. And then I'd run the rest of the lap normally, and then it would spike again. And I got about 5 laps of that behavior, and then the spike not only didn't come down, it went even higher. And then when I crossed 250, I went rut-row. So I literally put it in 6th gear and did a lap at like 40 miles an hour.
Yeah, freeway lap.
And I figured this will solve it. You know what I mean? Like 2,000 RPM, 6th gear. Like, this will figure it. And then instead of coming down, it went up, and I saw 270, and I had to shut it down maybe 100 yards from the entrance to the fucking pits.
Yeah.
Like, I almost made it to the pits on my own power.
And getting towed in's the worst,
Getting towed in sucks.
It's never a good feeling.
No fun.
Even when it's not your fault.
No, I mean, at least it's like, I wasn't towed, on 3 wheels or some shit. A couple people had bad fucking days, man.
Porsche, right? Got into the wall pretty hardcore.
Yeah, the thing about AER is like you could race a kind of shitty car, and you could race a pretty fucking expensive car. Those E46 M3s, I'm told, were $250,000.
The blue one that was up front?
The blue one and the Rogue Engineering one were apparently like $250,000.
There was one guy in there.
Is that it? Third picture from the left? Yeah. Oh, that's no, that's not. But What is that? Is that a Ford
It's an
Contour?
Audi looks like an S4.
Or looking more lemons than AER, but maybe I'm wrong.
AER, I'll tell you what, in the 2 or 3 years I've been doing it, the cars have gotten substantially better.
Yeah.
A lot of the crappy cars that were racing in the earlier races have dropped out. And
it's not that hard to find a car that's just going to be reliable, that can look decent and go have some fun.
No, I mean, you really want to look at the obvious choices, right? You want to look at Miatas, you want to look at E30s and E36s, E46s. I think really good money right now would be to build a spec E46, like from a 328 or a 330 Ci. Oh, that's the M3. That's the very fast.
And good driving
that thing has
manners
fucking air jacks on it, dude. That's
I know you were excited about that. That was a quick change.
It's a real
too.
race car. That's not a bullshit race car. That's not a shit box. That's, although he's dabbing, but that's in the picture. But yeah, it's got arrow on it, and it's got that Lexan window with the fucking wherever that goes. Is that brake ducting in the Lexan window?
It could be brake ducting, could be driver cooling as well. They'll put a pump in there. That'd be nice.
Oh, I'm so glad I brought my cool shirt too.
Thank you for rubbing that one in
Kentucky.
again as well.
Fuck yeah, dude.
For the
you
listeners,
know how people are like, you always pack your helmet because you never know if you're going to be driving. You always pack your cool shirt because you never know if they'll get it working.
No, it's fine, and it's okay. It was a good test to see if I could do it for that long in that heat, in which I was able to do it.
It wouldn't have been unbearable if I didn't have it, but the fact that I had it and that we hooked it up, when it's hot out, when you flip that switch.
It's tough to come back.
Oh my god!
Exactly.
You can't race without something like that once you've been treated.
Yeah.
Although you were saying that helmet ventilation is better.
It's the safety aspect. So look at what they're doing in Formula One and elsewhere. From what I've heard, you're wearing.
What are they doing in Formula One? You tell me.
Well, I mean, Formula One, you've got the open air in that sense. But what I'm saying is you're not seeing a cool suit being used, and maybe things have changed. But you're not seeing a cool suit being used in those settings.
Well, isn't the cool suit really meant for when closed cockpit temperatures, like prototype cars and shit like that, and rally cars?
And for a lot of those, you're still not going to see them unless it's a gentleman driver wearing it. Part of it is because
that's cold as ice.
No,
because we're fat, right? It's a fat thing.
It's one of those things where the safety side, from what I've heard from drivers, is that they would rather in a fire not have it on because of the chance of it boiling underneath, and then that kind of going through and kind of giving you a permanent radiator tattoo, if you will. So you see a lot of the helmets.
That would suck, but also be kind of hard, kind of tough.
It'd be unique.
It would be a talking point at the bar.
Yep.
I feel you. Yeah, if you're in a fire, that would be bad.
And the hooking in and out, it's just one other thing. You've already got the sound, or excuse me, your radio hookup. A lot of times we'll have a water hookup, bite valve.
Yeah.
So you've got two hookups there, and then who knows what else. The harnesses aren't always the easiest. That car was a little tough for some folks to get in and out. You saw me doing my practice 3-second in and outs, but it's one of those things that you want to make sure that
I think for my size, that car I got in and out pretty good.
You were fine. I think Curtis was more what I was referring to. Is
he was fucking 70.
He was doing a good job. I don't know.
He's a good driver, but I think he was in his 60s at least.
He was a cool guy. Yeah, and that's another one of those things where I was.
If you're going to drive third stint in a caged race car in your 60s, you may want to allocate for a little more time.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we worked on, and the stops were quick. So now it was fun, man. This was a good weekend, and Mid Ohio looks like it's coming up next. So I hope. Are
you going to come to that?
There. It's just up to Jack if he wants to have me out again, but it would be great. So it's a really fun team to race with, I think, and the car is really easy to drive. I mean, obviously you can get a little more out of it than I can, but I can get pretty close to what the car's capable of, and I was saying to Ross earlier today that there was a big turning point when I crossed out of being scared of wheel-to-wheel racing. Okay.
Before I ever did it, I'd done track days, but the idea of wheel-to-wheel racing was very intimidating.
Yeah.
Even in like a fairly crappy car, it was still pretty intimidating.
What do you think? And this is good. Kind of getting in your head on this, and because I'm sure it's the same sentiment that a lot that are listening would have. What's the scariest part about it?
Well, I made an assumption that everybody was better than me and knew more than me. First off, I made an assumption that because those people were already on the track and I wasn't, that they were better at driving than me and that they were better at everything than me.
Yep.
And that wasn't true at all. I mean, it was true in some cases, but it wasn't remotely true in other cases.
That's so cool that you're able to isolate that, because a lot of times folks will answer that question to me and just say, oh, I don't want to mess up the car.
Yeah.
And think about more the result.
That too, but
sure, but they're thinking more about the result of a mistake rather than what's actually causing them to have that. Basically, it's a lack of confidence in their driving. And the neat part, I can tell a quick story, is I was on this is one of my first things doing like stunts, right? Years and years ago, it was a TV show. And it's related to what you're saying as far as the confidence going into it and thinking that everybody else is gonna nail it and you're gonna be the guy, right?
Yeah.
So I'm on this. It was a Speed Channel show. It never went to air, but I brought my own car on. It was like a drifting thing, and you're like,
oh yeah, what was it called again?
Whipped.
Oh yeah, Whipped.
Right. This is my first deal, kind of doing the TV stuff. Up until that point, I'd won a few championships and I started coaching, but this was a different realm. And I'm nervous. I'm on TV. It's my own car. If it gets wrecked, it's permanent footage, right? So we're sitting in these trailers, and when they've already kind of talked us through some of the stuff, and there's like 3 guys I'm up against, and they don't really tell you how many hours till you're out. I don't know. So you're sitting in there with nothing but your thoughts, right? And that is very dangerous.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting in this little trailer, and so I just think back to my training. It's like, all right, I've got time. I know kind of roughly what the course is going to be like. Let me just drive the course in my head. And so I literally spent some time going through and keeping myself focused, just thinking about where I would shift my car. It was an RX-7, where I'd pull the handbrake. It was a drifting thing, and which I'd not really been drifting before that. And I went through it, I just step by step, and I just tried things out, right? And so I was like, all right, at least this is like fake simulator time later on.
Right.
And then as I got more into that group, before that, all I was thinking about is all these guys are going to kill me. My car's going to be messed up. Like, I was thinking about the most negative result possible. Like, my family's going to see me crash my car, and then I'm not going to have this car. Like, I'm just thinking about the worst, and then I'll never get a driving job and all this. So then I changed it over and focused on what I could control, which was learning and practicing what it might be like when I get in the car. And sure enough, when I got in the car, it was actually very similar. But before that, as I got really focused inside this little, what are they, Star Trailers? You know better than I.
Yeah, the Star Wagons.
Yeah, Star Wagons. I'm sitting in there.
Totally. Yeah. You see them parked all over LA.
And I'm getting into the groove, and things are becoming more quiet around me. I can hear the guy next door to me, right? And so I can hear one of the competitors, and he's on the phone with his wife, and he's like, this guy in the next room is like the best, dude. I can just see his level of confidence. I know, like, I'm going to screw up my BMW. I'm going to crash, right? And I was like, wow, because I thought he was my biggest concern, right? And then, so at this point, I'm like, all right, thin wall. So I go over to the next wall,
thin fucking
right?
walls,
and
bro.
I kind of listen in over there, like, I know this one guy. He's got this RX-7. It's really beat up, so he's probably gonna drive it hard. And the guy, he just so quiet. He's not talking too much, and that's got to be confidence. This guy's gonna kill it. And so this is something I still think to this day, is that no matter what series I'm in or when I'm working with other folks, that there's always somebody more nervous than you. There's always somebody with less experience. And, I ended up winning on that show. I got a Mustang out of it. It was like a $25,000 car. On
a show that never aired,
Never
right?
aired.
Yeah, you
awesome.
still get the fucking prize.
Yeah, it was a good deal. And more importantly,
I
I launched a car on the back of a moving tractor trailer. I had a good time. So
you got to do that?
Yeah.
To drive up on a moving truck?
On a moving tractor trailer, and then launch off it into a drift. And then the final one was a launch all the way up with fireworks. It was insane. It was so cool, right? And none of it.
I'd love to see the insurance policy for this fucking show.
It was insane. It was Scott Larson was the executive producer, and it never went to air. It's some vault somewhere.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's like Wipeout on Wheels. Anyhow, it was because Speed went defunct and all that. There was a lot behind the scenes, but the bottom line is, I guess
it was in the last days of Speed.
Exactly.
That's all you have to say. That's how that shit went south very quickly.
No, but so the ultimate,
I know, because I had a show. Oh,
really?
Oh, fuck yeah! I had a show that went into the ether.
It was a weird deal because I felt like, granted, they're going to spend some money on a re-edit, because it's a new network that wants to kind of do their thing, but they just got rid of it. So
that's a shame, man. I'd love to fucking.
Hey, but the Mustang, you want to go drift it? Let's go drift it, man. I still got it.
You still got it?
Yeah.
Is it like? Do you keep it nice, or did you turn into a race car or something?
I'm so OCD. It's not like perfect. We still track day it. It's a supercharged 4-liter, so it's a little different. Not a big V8. It's an S197, so like a 2006, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's a 4.6 supercharged.
Yeah. So about 280 to the wheels.
Yeah,
enough. I train people in it. So if you want to go drifting, I take you up to Willow Springs. You rent out a venue up there. There's some other guys that do that, but mine's a little bit.
I've done it with Naoki for Drift 101. Sure. I love him. He's great.
Exactly. And this is a little bit maybe well cared for car, and so mine is more one-on-one coaching with somebody that's got a couple more dollars that wants to really, not a guy who's going to go and do pro-am Formula drifting, which is great.
Right.
But this is more of like a guy, hey, I've got a Hellcat, and I don't want to drift my Hellcat, but can I drift your Mustang, Kevin? And you teach me how to do it. And that's what we can do, and it's pretty cool. It's got the hydro handbrake and stuff. It was built by Papadakis Racing. So
cool.
We'll go drift it, and then I'll go sell it. So I got to sell that thing. We got to make some room at the shop.
Oh, you want to make a video? I'll slide it and then we'll sell it.
Oh, we could, I was just saying, like, let's just go beat up on it and then we'll go sell it. But
I could help you sell it with a video.
Let's do it.
Someone will want it. Be great. Tim, we got a shitload of questions from people. Let's do some and then we'll leave and we'll come back. But American Endurance Racing, if you wanna, I like them a lot. I think they're nice people. It's a predominantly East Coast series. I forget how many races there are. There are other races between now and Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, there's Calabogie coming up, which apparently Jack is banned from Canada, which sounds like a great story.
Oh, yeah, he is. Yeah. I was there for that. He got banned from,
All right. So we can't do that one.
Yeah, Jack can't go to Canada, so that one's out, right?
There's some other one, which I think Summit Point. I can't do that one, but I don't think the team's doing that anyway.
Fucking every time. Summit Point seems like such a nice place, and every time I go, it rains. And it's just so, it's super slick in the rain. I suck in the rain. I can't. I don't trust tires. I don't trust cars. To me, the predictability of everything goes kind of out the window in the wet, and I don't know what the right speed is. You know what I mean? It's like when I see pros driving on the in-car, I go, well, that looks like a little slower than I guess they would be going. But then when I watch them on the outside, I'm like, no, they're going fucking fast.
Yeah, it's quick. That's interesting. Have you done the Porsche Experience Center LA yet? Like the wet, the drives we have out there? Or?
Yeah, I have done a similar stuff to that. I haven't done the actual Porsche
like a
Experience.
Michelin deal or something.
Yeah.
The tire proving grounds are great.
Yeah, and I went on the PS4S launch. It was in Palm Springs and it pissed rain, so we're running thermal and there's standing water everywhere.
Yeah, that'll get you a bit of a.
I've done a bunch. I crashed a Formula car at Lime Rock in the wet. I've had all kinds of fun in the wet.
Good times.
But I just can't get confident in it. I don't know.
I love it. It's one of those things where I can see advantages, but there is a lot to it. And actually, I wonder how it would be now after doing this full rallycross season with the Crosskarts and learning so much. The crazy part for that has been that each lap the track changes, and then you come back out and it's been watered, or like sprint cars have been out there or whatever, or these like figure eight cars, and the track's so different, right? And that's similar in the sense of what you get even during a sprint race in the rain. The cool part I've always enjoyed about that is that you may be like a track like Willow Springs, like I have a different wet line, but then you might go to a newer track.
I've never been to Willow. You've ridden Willow in the rain before?
Oh yeah, I've won there in the rain.
Really?
In a first gen RX-7 among other cars, and that car, as you know, is a drift monster.
What is Willow like in the rain?
Well, it's so old, so the asphalt is worn in on the proper line that you need to find that extra porous asphalt, and so you have a completely different line. So people probably look at you like you're a complete idiot the way you're driving, and I was passing cars in like 3 classes faster and turbo RX-8s and stuff.
Lime Rock was like that in the wet, where it's such an old track that the rain line is wonky shit.
Yeah,
it looks like wrong.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be completely weird, but you're finding that grip.
I hate Willow. Willow sucks. I just don't think Big Willow, I just don't think is fun. I don't think it's a fun to drive track.
Yeah, it's maybe more simplified, and the staff there are fantastic. So we rent it out.
Nothing against the people there. I'd say just the shape of the shape.
No. We rent it out quite frequently when we do the Hooked on Driving events down here in SoCal. You did a Hooked on Driving up at
I did it at Sonoma, and they were very nice to me, and they were extremely professional, and I would recommend them to anybody who wants to do one of their events. And they did not pay me to say that, and in fact, I paid for their event, but I still think they're great people.
Yeah, good event. And so we do that at Big Willow. Higher horsepower cars, I think people enjoy it.
Well, that's
but
the thing
even
for
a low
me.
Horsepower car, like your turn 9 is really, it takes a lot of technique.
For me, it's horsepower, grip, and balls to drive that track. But I just don't. A track that has 9 corners to me isn't that fun.
Yep. All right.
I don't think the pavement's that good. I actually think streets is more fun to drive.
Yeah, it's certainly more technical.
Yeah, and in all but the fastest cars, I prefer streets. But I don't know. I'm actually in the SoCal tracks. I'm actually gonna throw my hat in the ring for Button Willow.
Okay,
as being the best.
After the repave, it's been
the
good.
repave is really nice, and although there may be by now no real facilities. Chuckwalla, I think, is a great driver's track as well.
More of a flow.
Out there?
Yeah, more of a flow.
Great flow.
Yeah, more like
really,
an NCM.
It's got a really it's a good like medium speed track, and it's not too harsh on cars. There's like only that one big braking zone.
Yeah, I mean the heat could be depending on when you're there, but otherwise, yeah, it's not bad. And they have the chalets now, I think, out there where you can spend a night. But yeah, there isn't too much.
There's not much. You got to RV it. If you RV it, it's cool. Yep. Yeah, there could be. If there was an extra place to poop, it wouldn't be the worst thing.
Exactly.
That's the thing. That's my one thing with endurance racing. Is you with your peeing time for timing your pee. I had to think. It was like setting up for a pass 4 corners ahead.
Nice.
I had to set up for a poo. You start the process like a day before to time your poos, because it not only it's about being in the race car. That's not really the issue. It's really about being at a racetrack where there's only like 3 toilets for like 300 guys. So you want to avoid that scenario.
No, it's true. I joke with Judy. Judy's my girlfriend, and I told her, I was like, there's a lot to this industry. And one of them is that you will poo in more blue rooms than you've ever thought possible, as long as you continue to go to the track. And it's a lot of the tracks.
For her at NCM, she must have been like fucking Mary Poppins in the bathroom. She must have been like having a private bathroom to herself. There's about 4 women.
I was going to say, at the whole facility. There were a couple of women drivers I saw, which is excellent. I'm big about the women in racing, so that's.
I know some good girl drivers for sure. Mm-hmm. Stephanie, I don't know her last name. You know her.
Sima.
Sure. Yeah,
Sima. She's awesome. A great attitude too.
I really want to. If you're out there, Stephanie, remind me to get you on the podcast.
Yeah.
I've been
great
meaning
driver.
to. Yeah,
Ashley Freeberg, who's also with us at Exotics Racing and does some IMSA racing, is fantastic. Reagan Steedman, actually the first woman coach at Exotics Racing.
We talked about that briefly.
We got to get her in a car.
That's
she
a fucking
is
tough job for a woman, man, because that's like, I bet it's your average track day versus your average day of, your average Saturday at Exotics Racing Las Vegas. I bet there's more testosterone going through Exotics Racing than fucking at a track day.
There's a lot, right? And
was that outside or was that in my headphones?
It's outside.
Yeah, fucking cockbags on their horns. Sorry.
No, it's all good. No, it is. It's honestly, I tell folks that Exotics Racing is probably if you want to be a coach there, and we are, I believe, still hiring, is the toughest instruction you're ever going to do. Because you have someone who's coming in and they want to go as fast as possible in front of their family in 5 laps, and you've got to make sure that they're safe, more important than anything else. You've got to make sure that they're going to have a good time. So the customer service side. And the last part, which I love, and Dave Roberts and some of my other mentors there encourage, they've got to learn something. I do a full 25, 30-minute classroom there to kind of get them some of the basics. You've seen that before. Yeah. And then you get them out in the cars. I show them 2 laps around the track. We do a little discovery laps in the Porsche Cayenne. And then we get them in the car. And then you've got a pro like myself or a lot of other guys from any different industry who are going to be sitting right seat, and they do a quick little spiel, and then you're out on the track. It's quick. And so take that challenge already, and these guys study, and we do video reviews. It's an amazing program. You learn so much there. And then you take it, and now, and I don't want to be stereotypical, but there are some areas of the world, and we get a lot of folks here in LA and Vegas that come in, and some areas of the world where you don't really ever, as a male, take orders from a woman. And that's where
those people come to Las Vegas.
Vegas especially, and LA, and so it is a challenge for some of the women. And I've been so impressed with Reagan. She's like, she'll get that hand up in your face. She's got so many different things like that she does that are in our coaching repertoire, in our toolbox, and she's so good at it. And so a lot of props, and to all the coaches out there, we've got a fantastic crew.
They don't still the bike helmets.
They have if you're getting into
was that Exotics Racing?
No, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Helmets? So there's they're more like the motorcycle sort of thug sort of helmet looking things where it's just the top, and it's because you get into a Lamborghini and you're 6'5", you can't wear a normal helmet. Like a lot of people don't think about that, even if you're 6'3". I mean, it's
I can't wear. I've had to take Aventadors on track a couple of times, and I can't wear a fucking helmet at Aventador.
It's tough.
Stinks.
When I get in, I'm 6'2", and I go full like Formula style. I'm like laying back in the seat, pulling the wheel.
The driving position stinks. You got your knees all bent up because you got to hunch down. It sucks.
It's awkward.
I love a comfortable supercar. When they make them comfortable. Have you been in a 720 yet?
No, not on track. I decided it during the dealer launch down at McLaren Newport Beach.
720 is, I think, the current. I just had it the week before the race. I think is the best tall guy supercar right now.
Okay.
Or I mean, maybe a tie for the R8. The R8 is a great tall guy supercar as well. But like the Lambos,
the new one is fantastic. It's really
the
quick.
new one's fast. Yeah, very very fast.
Yeah.
What else? Should we? I meant to get through something. We got a ton of questions from people. Yeah. People want to talk about a bunch of different things, and we got some fun ones. Let's see. Mateo wants to know, what's our opinion on a used Jag XKR? For me, first gen no, second gen yes. I liked the second gen XKR a lot.
That is definitely a Matt question.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No,
but that's okay. It was, it's in and out right there.
No, that's what the reason why I say that. I won't give opinions because I work for so many different manufacturers. So I'll give you facts.
Yeah, you have no opinions. All right, fine. $250,000 budget, Superformance GT40. Okay, 991 GT3 RS. Okay, or Audi R8 V10. Oh man, see these are two cars that are three cars that are like not the same. He's not saying, should I do the Ferrari or the Lamborghini, because they're kind of comparable. And it's like, if you want a Superformance GT40 versus do you really need me to tell you which to get between a GT40 and like a 991 and R8? Like,
and what are you doing with it? I mean, there's so many different questions.
Like, I've driven all of those cars that you have there. I mean, look, the GT40 is it may be new, but it's old. It's gonna be hot. It's gonna be a little finicky. It's fucking old. It's not comfortable. It's like a crazy old thing. And like, if you want that, you couldn't possibly also want the modern cars. As far as the GT3 RS versus the R8 V10, they're both really awesome. Honestly, the Porsche's a little more practical. It's got more storage space. The R8 is a little more exotic, I suppose. They both drive really well. I don't know.
Yeah, just
I'd probably take the Porsche. I'd probably have the GT3 RS.
Yep. Cool.
That's just me. Here's one for you. Faster SCCA car, Kevin. Mm-hmm. An LS swapped BMW E30 or a 240 SX, presumably with an LS also?
Yeah, I would guess.
Which would you put an LS in? I think an LS is better swapped into the 240 than the...
Just because it's been done so many times, right?
Yeah.
And I'm all about reliability and I mean, parts, having spares. But the E30 is a fun chassis. I've just never driven one with a V8. Have you driven one with a V8?
Yeah, actually I have, strangely enough. Not one with an LS V8. I drove one with a V8 from a 7 Series.
Okay.
Like the 4-liter V8.
Shoehorned like heck.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, actually. Okay. It wasn't a crazy amount of horsepower, but like it had a good sound. Yeah, it was fucking fast. Don't get me wrong. It was fast. My favorite E30 that I've ever driven had the S54 in it.
Yeah,
from an E46 M3. S54 with a 6-speed. And it was absolutely spectacular. It was probably the best BMW, maybe not the top 3 BMWs I've ever driven. Yep. It was badass. That's what I would do with the E30. Let's see. My Accord was totaled. Sorry, Bryce. Should I get a 6-speed G37? Okay. I don't, there's nothing wrong with a 6-speed G37.
As opposed to what? Were they getting the automatic or something different?
No, I think 6.6 means 6 cylinders, 6 speed. So I think so he's looking for a manual. Nothing wrong with a G37. I just find I find those cars to be a little flavorless as far as rear drive cars go. That and the Genesis Coupe are tied for most boring rear wheel drive cars.
G37 you can drift though, right? It's pretty similar to the Z.
Yeah, you can drift them. Yeah.
I heard the transmissions could actually be pretty decent even in automatic form. One of the things
they had an okay paddle shifter system. Okay. Right? Yeah, okay.
I'm interested for next year with and I can't talk too much about it, but one of the things we want to do with one of the clients I have who, Jeff, who's, can't shift, can't really use his left leg too much, is trying to find a really reliable automatic. And maybe some of the viewers can think of one, but an automatic that we could maybe even do an endurance race with where it's just an automatic. And the key is, like, of course, we could go and get
would automatic be a paddle, paddle shifters, but 2 pedals, but he wants it fully automatic.
Yeah, I mean, we're even looking at the 10-speed, like the Performance Pack 2
how much
or
money's
Performance Pack 1. Well, that's, it's a huge range, right? What we're looking at.
My mind,
that's what we were thinking about. Even like a G37 is because I heard that transmission with the, we add a transmission cooler could be one that would just work, and it's going to be an easy car and possibly maybe reliable. So.
My mind would go to PDK,
sure,
or and like maybe a PDK Cayman, like a Gen 2 Cayman with PDK, I think could do it. Or, wait, no, I just had another one, but
no, PDK is great.
No, I had another one, and it just went poof. It just went away. Oh, fucking hell! It'll come back at the wrong time.
Yeah,
don't worry.
Most random time possible.
It'll come back
while you're pooping later.
It'll come back at a terrible fucking time. I can't remember. Someone's gonna be screaming. It's like, I was gonna say Audi TTRS, that dual clutch is excellent, and I don't know about an endurance setting, although I'm pretty sure the TTRS that they run a VLN as a sequential. I don't think that's a stock gearbox, but HPA in Canada builds like 750 horsepower Volkswagens that all use the TTRS gearbox.
Okay.
So if there's, would you guess that or hypothesize that if they're strong enough to handle huge horsepower, they might be strong enough to handle endurance racing conditions?
Yeah, you would
under
hope.
stock power.
And the thing is, you could always add a cooler. It's not too hard, right?
Yeah.
So the key would just be
TTRSs are fast as fuck.
They're fun.
You ever
cars.
drive one?
Yeah. We drove them.
Fast,
we did an event with one. It was pretty. That and a bunch of other Audis. They're fun cars.
Dude, I drove a APR TTRS and it had like 4 parts on it, and it was 600 horsepower. Like, it was so fast. It was so fast.
That's
and
crazy.
they have one now, I think. I don't know. It's actually the RS3, the one they have, which is the same shit. It's the same drivetrain, and it's got like 4 parts on it, 5 parts on it, and they gutted the interior except the driver's seat, and it runs 9s.
Nice. That's crazy. Man. We're living in such a great age right now. If you think about the horsepower levels we're getting, the reliability, it's
shit
crazy.
is so fast.
It's nuts.
So fast.
Yeah,
it's
my dad was thinking about getting a Hellcat, and I just think about when he was growing up, they'd be lucky to maybe get 300 horsepower out of like what their dream car would be. Yeah. And now he's looking at something that's like 700-800 horsepower.
Yeah, dude. I talk about it a bunch, but my friend Jimmy, who built our cars in high school, he was the mechanic friend that I had, and his dad had a drag car that was a 73 or 74 GTO, and it made 700 horsepower, and it ran a 9-second quarter mile. But to start it, you had to squirt shit in the car,
the carburetors,
and
right?
take the fucking tennis balls out of the thing, and warn the neighbors. You know what I mean? It was
part of that is kind of cool, but then on a day-to-day basis, like I remember on my first RX-7 when I was 16, pulling the choke out, and then it's not starting. It doesn't really work out well for a date. When you're having to do chokes, you shoot the starter fluid in there.
But now I just had this McLaren. That makes, by all accounts, fucking 800 horse. And, I drive it to the doctor's office, Beverly Hills, whatever, and it's like mega comfortable and
so quick on track, too.
Yeah, it runs 9s. I mean, the fucking thing runs 9s out of the box. Like, and Timmy.
Wow, that is full. Well done.
Nice flow, brother.
Today we're talking about taking it to the limit, and he's done a great job.
It's a meniscus.
Push it to the limit. Hold on.
Oh, man.
Sorry, Timmy just spilled water everywhere. We have nope, we don't.
It's getting wet in the Smoking Tire podcast room, and it's not just.
How do you like it? Hot and very wet. Abel wants to know, what is the best way to connect corners in drifting? I keep spinning. Is it corner entry speed, angle, or throttle the key to link 2 corners and to link one slide to another slide?
Let me throw it at you, man. What do you think?
For me?
Yeah.
What causes the spin for me is getting off the throttle either too fast or too slow to begin the transition from one to the other. Okay. Typically. I transition, my snap is too hard, which I think indicates I get off the throttle too fast, and that causes a more aggressive snap.
So let's take it away from even drifting for a second and get a little bit more technical. But so say we're on a road course and you've got 2, essentially like a chicane, right? Or maybe even just 2 S-curves connected, let's say like 21, 22, 23 at NCM. What would get you the proper line through there?
What would get
same sort of question, hey, I don't have the proper line through 21 through 23. What do I do to get the proper line through there? What would you do?
I mean, I would start with a traditional like apex theory, I suppose.
The tool that you would use would be your eyes. You'd be looking where you'd want to go.
Oh yeah.
And so the key is what a lot of these guys that I teach how to drift.
I didn't know where the question was going.
Yeah, no,
I'm sorry.
I'm making it hard for you.
You did a bad job of phrasing that question.
Yeah, no. Hey, that's what I'm much better behind the wheel. Or
I'm gonna critique
to
your fucking criticism.
All good, man.
Yes, that's true. The car tends to go where your eyes go.
It sounds silly, right? And someone's going to be like, "Why did he go that route?" Of course that's true. But actually, when I sit right seat, if I'm teaching someone to drift, or we're working at Porsche Experience Center and we're sliding around on some of the low friction surfaces, the eyes are the first things to go down, right? And instead what they look towards is the wall, right? Or they look for the worst case scenario. So by getting your eyes up closer to the horizon and looking where you want to go is going to be the first step. Now, then there's plenty. Let's get in. And you were correct.
No,
in what
but you
saying.
have a right point, because anyone who's ever watched a video of me drifting, and there are a few, I scream eyes up at myself in the video, so you can hear me do it. I'm like, I'll talk about whatever. The steering eyes up, Farah, eyes up. I say that to myself all the time, because if I ever fuck up, it's because I'm not looking far enough ahead.
Yeah,
almost
you look
every
at the
time.
wall, you're going to the wall, man. And that's what it is. So one of the things we have at the Porsche Experience Center in LA is you go onto the kick plate, and there's only 2 areas in the country where you have this. It's at the Porsche Experience Center in Atlanta as well as here in LA, and it throws you into a completely random drift. It's left, right. Even us as coaches, we don't know what it's going to do. So you drive over it, and it throws you into that. Have you been there? Did you drive that thing?
I did it. In
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yep. And I won't hold it against you. You'll come visit us in LA. It's no problem. But
I keep meaning to, and then not.
There's a lot of good guys down in Atlanta too. Eric Powell's down there, and Jeff, and a lot of other good guys. But so both are fantastic. And then the folks here, even some of my mentors like Johnny Cannabis, I told you about, who you love his last name.
Friends, dude, we got a lot of friends here. Austin Cabot, who's been on the show, is there.
Yeah.
Dieter's there.
Yeah, Dieter Hines, who I work for another job, right? So HG Trackside, so I'm his lead coach, and he's got that huge.
He does. He does track prep for your sports cars.
Yep. So, but anyhow, so when I'm there with folks, usually when they can't nail it, and this could be pros. I've been there with professional drivers, and that's usually the toughest part for them is we've got a cone down at the end, and if you're looking for that cone, you're going to see in your field of view if it goes left or right, and if you immediately react, then you're going to be set. You're going to steer towards the cone. You're going to steer in the direction of the skid, right? We say, Skip Arbor days, we would say CPR, correct, pause, and then recover. So you're going to correct by steering into the skid. You're going to pause and let the car start to fix itself, and then you got to recover. Otherwise, you're going to get that tank slapper. And the biggest thing is people can know how to steer. They can feel it, the kinesthetics. But if they don't look for the out, if they don't look where they want to go, then it's everything else is for naught. So I guess if I want to simplify his answer, first, make sure your eyes are up. Look at your videos, bud. Are you looking down? And kind of analyze that. And then if that's the case, you are looking in the right area. Now we got to think about what we're doing VD-wise, vehicle dynamics, to upset the balance of the car.
That's awesome. That's way more than 5 pounds worth of advice, but that's what he gave to get it. No, it's good. It's probably true. It's probably true. His eyes are probably going the wrong direction in the middle of that transition.
And it's going to tell you at that point, do I need more throttle right now? Let me see if I can use some momentum to go through here. Use some weight transfer, load transfer. So.
Or he could also possibly be getting on the throttle too early after the transition and not letting the car kind of slow itself sideways.
You're right. And it's one of those things where you're so anxious, right?
Yeah.
And think about it in road racing.
That
so
happened to me
too.
in the buggy, remember, in the sprint buggy.
You had a nice little donut. You could have played it off and just said you were showing off for me because I'm standing up there videoing you. But
I left it in the video, dude. I don't lie about shit. I'm okay being imperfect as long as I'm honest.
I think
honestly,
that's why people like it.
Yeah. Some people have way too much ego about spinning or whatever. Like, shit happens.
To all of us.
Thomas had a donation. Thank you. So your brother is running a little racing league. Is this true? Is this your brother?
Yeah, my brother Brett
is running a racing league called the American Muscle Cup. What's that about?
It's with they run it through like Southern California, so it's one of those ones where they kind of affiliate with the current track day organization. And my brother's big in that Mustang community. He's got a cop car
American
now.
Iron.
His name's Brett Madsen, if you want to pull him up. Super cool guy, and he's kind of carving out his own niche. And it's been pretty neat to see. Great driver as well. He's big in the sim racing community too. The interesting part is, as the older brother, and I don't want to embarrass him at all online, is I think that he wants to carve his own path and doesn't want me to have too much involvement, which is great because he's done so much, and I'm so proud of him. Both my brothers. My other brother's an A-10 Air Force pilot who's served us in Afghanistan, is soon to go to Korea. Has a huge.
That's not Brad. That's another brother. Third brother?
Keith, yeah.
Third
just
brother.
Two brothers. But Brett Madsen, he's running the American Muscle Cup, and it's pretty cool. He's basically bringing out a lot of the guys who did Optima, and all that sort of stuff. Guys that have like put some money in their cars, but are a little bit worried about going onto a track. And so they get out there and they rip around and they're going for time, and
it's like a time attack series.
Yep.
Oh,
yep.
cool. All right.
So just a new little deal. So that's pretty cool that, that one
neat.
of his guys is out here. He's got this video now where he's at Sonoma. It's pretty hilarious. You guys may want to pull it up, but he's in a cop car. He just bought a cop car,
Nice.
like an old Crown
I
Vic.
recommend that.
Yeah, and
It's a
he's
good
ripping
strategy.
around Sonoma. First time up there, and he's like passing, and who knows what it could be. I don't want to talk trash to whoever's in the Porsches because it could be a green group, could be a beginner group. It probably is, in fact.
Probably is if it's a Crown Vic.
Yeah, he's kind of passing some expensive machinery, and so people have commented, they probably saw the lights and thought you were pulling them over. Just kind of a fun deal. But he's a great guy, and the American Muscle Cup folks, I'm on that group. I haven't had a chance to get out with him and really experience it, but I've heard some good things. And it seems like a really cool group of guys overall. And I've got that Mustang, I've got the Corvette, I've got
you could
some
run that
machinery.
shit, right?
I know, I just haven't had a chance to get out with those guys.
Cool. I will check that out. I'm coming out of a lease. Y says, what is the best driver's car in the $35,000 range? Let's shit. I wish you would say new or used, but because if it's used, it really invites so many options, right? You're talking about like 997 Porsches and shit at that range, and you've got a C6 Z06
that's
Corvette
easily in there, depending on what year you go for. So
yeah, I mean yours seems a little nicer than 35 grand, but they can be had. Pretty good ones for that money.
Sure.
E92 M3s are good. I mean, there's all kind of Caymans and Boxsters that you can get for 35 grand. Throw a little aside for maintenance, but that's kind of what I would do. If you were talking about brand new, can you get brand new for 35? That's great. 35 is an awkward number. It's in the middle of a bunch of shit.
But there really are so many options out there right now that it's tough to.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the standard STI Golf R, Focus RS, Civic Type R. You've got those. Civic Type R is great. I like those a lot. There's some options. I hope there's some options. I wouldn't get anything. I wouldn't get too many things that are German for 35 grand. Let's see. Is it worth the money to convert my automatic 350Z to a CD009 manual transmission? No.
So this is getting beyond my technical abilities.
Should we just assume that's a stock manual or a manual from another fucking Nissan?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. The answer to that is just no. No. It's not. How expensive could a 350Z possibly be?
Yeah.
They were $10,000 like 4 years ago.
Just get a different one.
Yeah. He bought it with low miles for a good deal and are pretty attached to it. Well, now
keep it as a commuter car.
That's an emotional question. Keep it as a commuter car. So I have an Aston Martin that I had converted to a stick, and it cost approximately 50% of the value of the car.
That's crazy
to do that at current values.
And even if you do it yourself, because a lot of these guys, that's the cool part about your listeners are guys that like me, that have wrenched from the beginning. I don't do it nearly as much. I've got a shop now myself where I have folks do some of that work, but I still know what's going on.
Yeah.
But a lot of these guys are like, I can save money and I can do this myself. But you got to factor in your time, and
your time is probably worth something.
Yeah, and especially on a build like that, there's the little things of
right. I don't know what it takes to convert a 350Z to manual, but it can't possibly be worthwhile.
Doesn't sound like fun, yeah.
No, I mean, especially if you have a nice one, and you can
going to be quicker when you get it done, right?
I would say don't bother. Honestly, that's a shame, but I would say don't bother.
But we love you, and it's probably a cool car.
But for an Aston Martin, I had it done at the factory, so I spent a lot of money. Now it seems stupid, but the car's great, and I got it back, and it looks like it came that way from the factory. And in 50 years, I've got a certificate that says this was done at the factory, and it's it's better.
Some value.
So, but there's not a lot of. I don't think it's quite a parallel circumstance to a 350Z. I don't know. I would say just get a stick because there are plenty of them around. What does that say?
This is what's next.
Thoughts on purchasing a 2006 Jaguar S-Type R as a fun daily. I don't think that will be that fun. Supercharged 4.2 V8 makes me happy. Mid-2000s Jag makes me nervous, as it should. Also, is that motor the same V8 from the early 2000s Ford Thunderbird? So, yes, it is. It's supercharged. It's the same as the Jag S-Type is the same as the Lincoln LS underneath. It's very Fordish. So it's not that the Jaguar-ness of it should make you nervous. It's really a very Fordy. So it's how cheap is it? If you want kind of a real Jag, I think you could get I would get what Spinelli has, the older XKR, but I don't know. I drove an S-Type once and it wasn't that great. I mean, it's very whatever. I think the early 2000s or late 90s or early 2000s Mercedes are cooler if you want a sedan.
Have you driven so Judy and I went to Hooked on Driving at Sonoma, I think last year. They do it's right after, I forget, the Asphalt Friday. It's right after Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Asphalt Friday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Funny,
yeah. I thought you'd love that. So we went out there for that, and we were in the Jaguar F-Type R. Forgive me, I don't do any work for Jaguar, so I don't really know too much about the car.
Yeah, the coupe with the supercharged V8 and a zillion fucking horsepower.
So maybe it wasn't the R then, because it was a convertible.
Could be an R.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's an R.
And it was pretty soft, comparatively, but I loved the car. It was fun because I like to just kind of slide around and stuff. So that put that as one of the top 3 scariest tracks in the country for Judy. She's got her rankings. I think AMP, Atlanta Motorsports
Sonoma, she put as scary because of the walls, proximity to the track.
Proximity to the walls and elevation change, blind corners, I'm guessing, and the fact that I was sliding around a car that I should probably not be in that
Sonoma
speed.
is a very intimidating racetrack. I think the walls are close, the elevation change is serious, and when it gets light, it gets really, really light. What is it, corner 4 or something?
Going up the hill.
Is that 4? 5?
1, 2, 3,
4? Yeah. The super light one?
We've got the other one where you're coming. I don't have the map in front of me. Yeah, we were just studying NCM like crazy, weren't we?
Yeah.
But yeah, when you kind of go up to that second
crest is super light. But I went,
which is cool.
I drove there in a fast car for the first time, and the shape of the track was very different from the slow cars. I did it before.
Yeah, as was parts of your body perhaps puckering for sure.
Yeah, man, that's a hairy track, but it's a lot of fun.
One time I was in a Nissan Altima there, just doing some discovery laps. Yeah, no comment.
Was that where they wrapped it like a fucking NASCAR and people were all, oh my God, this is just an Altima.
I was coming into the hairpin, and we could talk about, we won't even get into flagging and all that later, but the, so I'm coming into this hairpin section of the track, and somebody had dropped coolant. I didn't know. There's no debris flag yet because they didn't really know, the red and yellow flag. And so we come in there, and I'm in this Altima. There's a GT350 old school, who knows how much the thing is worth, right? And this is an HOD day, so there's some really nice cars out there. And I'm hooked on driving, so I'm hard onto the brakes, and it just loses it, and I'm going off track. And so I have the decision: do I want to go in front of this guy and hope that he just stays where he's at and completely avoid the wall, or do I want to go behind him and I'll be really close to the wall? And there's some other cars that have already spun out over there. So I just went behind, luckily, and it was all clear. But it was one of those situations where it kind of reminds you, okay, you get into a nice groove, and I'm 5/10, not pushing at all in this Altima. I'm just trying to get a little bit of a feel for the grip level out there. And so because I was actually coaching the whole weekend, I wasn't even driving, and I nearly bought a GT350 that day, so old school. So it's one of those deals, all because that coolant. So yeah, and when you're out there at these tracks, and you got to remember that sort of stuff, is that you definitely want to leave a lot on the table. But even so, he shouldn't have had coolant in the car, but of course it's a street car, I guess. So the coolant is slippery, man, super slippery.
Yeah, I bet. I was tracking that Versa. I rented a Nissan Versa.
Oh, can we talk a lot more about that Versa?
Yeah, bro. That shit was fucking turned in. It's straight.
Yes.
Bro, so
rental car fun.
So I rented a Nissan Versa, right? And I was a couple things happened. One is I rented it through my Delta app, which I don't normally do. And I just wanted something fucking cheap because I'm paying a lot of money to race and the hotels and whatever. So I was just a fucking Versa, the sedan. No, not that one. Yeah, that one. That was it. It's an awful car.
So how much did you pay for this Versa?
So here's the thing.
So it's on record.
So here's the thing. I booked this car at $20 a day, which I believe is a fair price for a Versa.
Yeah, we were there 4 or 5 days.
We were there for 4 days. It was 4 days. The bill was $88. Okay, it was
for the car.
Yeah.
Yep.
$80 and then 10% tax was $88. So but because I'm Delta, platinum shit. My name is on the Hertz, board, and
you're kind of a big deal there. So you got that Versa,
you just here your spot is your car's in
let's get his Versa, nice
space
and
number, fucking whatever. You go get it. So go get it, and you present your whatever they give you the thing. I take the rental contract, I throw in the glove box. I don't look at it. 2 days later, I happen to need something in the glove box. I pull out the rental agreement. I look at it. I have automatically been charged every single possible additional extra fucking charge. So my $20 a day has $57 a day in extras added to it.
It's crazy.
So my $88 rental is now $400. I've now been charged for $400 for 4 days with the Nissan Versa.
And meanwhile, I'm in a Chevy Malibu at $209 for the full deal, and I wanted to rub that in a couple times too. So.
I felt really good about the fact that on Friday, the practice day, I hadn't been to NCM in a very long time, and I didn't count, but it was between 20 and 25 laps
in the Versa.
In the Versa.
No brake overheating though. I mean, that was actually pretty surprising.
Yeah, no, I was very kind to the brakes.
Okay.
It was a CVT. So, the fuckers at $6,000 the whole time.
Yep.
It just go, and it was making some sounds. And Bozy put that laser thermometer thing up to the CVT, and he recorded 345 degrees.
They get hot. So
fucking gearbox.
Quick story. I test. I don't do it too much anymore, but I test drive, as you know, out at the Ford Arizona Proving Grounds. Mm-hmm. So we're testing in hot weather. It's like 116 degrees, 132 ambient sometimes out there over the track surfaces. And so the cars are working good. This particular test I was on, right? So we're beating them up on, and they're running fine. Beating up on them. So I'm coming back in my Nissan Altima rental car.
Yeah.
Through the desert. All right. So I just tested cars, right? I'm trying to break them. We have specific things we're trying to do. I'm driving through the desert in a Nissan Altima brand new rental car, and the CVT overheats. I've got to go full heat. I've got to stop it and get ice and put the ice literally around. It was insane.
God. We killed one. We killed a CVT in Colorado. We got a Pathfinder. Was I talking to you about the or similar? The fucking tendency of
the problem.
We asked for a 4Runner once and got a Dodge Journey, which is not similar. We asked for another 4Runner once and got a Pathfinder, a new Pathfinder, which is not similar. And we went on some mild off-roading and completely fried the fucking CVT on the Pathfinder. What a hunk of shit. The Versa was so terrible. And Bozy was trying to be so pragmatic about it. He's like, look, for like $12,000. I'm like,
it is interesting. And the
it's horrible. It was horrible. It was so first off, it did put up to 20 to 25 laps of track work, and it didn't die. Wasn't happy, but it didn't die. So there was that. And the tires held up okay, and the brakes held up okay. But on the highway, it was a disaster. It was so nervous and twitchy. Any little steering wheel motion.
So any abuse, it's going to be
I don't know if it came like that or whatever, but the fucking alignment was all shitty, and it wandered all over the road, and it was so fucking terrible. I hated it so much. The whole time, I was like, this is what you get for trying to save $8 a day not getting. And then to find out I was charged $400 fucking dollars. Me and Jack went out on this fucking thing in the parking lot.
Okay,
and they had
this is what I wanted to talk about. I didn't know if we were allowed
big Rubbermaid
you got to hear this.
Trash cans, like big. They were empty, all empty.
Big
and
barrels.
And we were doing handbrake turns and like hitting the barrels like a baseball swing, but with the ass end of the car.
Nice.
I was like, I'm having fucking $400 worth of fun in this piece of shit.
It was basically each panel had to be damaged, and then we
really
had the idea.
the thing is, I really didn't really damage it, like. Unless
did
someone
they say anything
was
when you returned it?
Not a peep.
That is crazy.
Not a peep.
It was full insurance. I mean, you definitely paid
dude,
up.
they charged me for like, dude, I could have sailed this bitch into the fucking Pacific Ocean and they couldn't have done shit. They charged me triple the rental rate per day for insurance.
It wasn't as bad as it could have been, right? You think people kind of told it. I like that whenever you parked the car, that it was always had to be, his rule was that it had to be in contact with some piece of the building at NCM. It was great. It was a cool little rule. And then so people would come over, it's like, did someone crash that into the side? No, it's just parked against the building.
There.
It was hilarious.
You know, and there was a time like 5 years ago when I was the abused the rental car guy, and I'm really not that guy anymore, but I felt genuinely fucking wronged
on that one.
So
well, mostly because you called them and tried to make it work, and then
I called them once I discovered the problem. I called customer service, and I was like, I've been overcharged for this, and they're like, well, you can't return insurance, you've already used it. And I was like, okay. And he goes, you can call the branch directly, here's the number. And I called the number, and it went straight back to corporate. It's like, you fucking cockbags. That was when parking lot fucking baseball practice happened.
Oh, there was many concepts thrown out. Now, if we didn't have issues with the car, I think the next one was the
oh my god, I actually thought
Federal Tire Olympics, where we were going to be throwing federal tires at the car and see who could cause the most damage with
like a hammer throw.
Yeah, you'd have to do like a little discus, almost sort of warm up, and then hug one of the federal RSRs.
That's
at
amazing.
And then the one that I would really don't have the balls to ever do, but I think somebody, if they ever got wronged by a company, should do, which is if you really wanted to, what you would do is you would take a key and you would key the word cheater down the whole side of the fucking car. And then you'd drive around until you found an identical one and you'd park right next to it. You'd take a picture and go, this is incredible. I came out of the fucking restaurant and it's keyed as cheater in the side of the car. And it must have been the wrong car. Look, the same car is parked next to it.
Right.
And then you'd have destroyed like 5 body panels with a key.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, imagine the gram. The gram would love it. Mistaken identity, I tell you.
Cat's out of the bag.
Oh my God. Were there any other questions, Timmy, or was that it?
I think we had
nothing of interest.
964 or 993.
What handles better on the track? Have you ever tracked old Porsches, Kevin?
I have not.
I've never driven a 993 on the track. I've only driven a 964 on the track, and it was an all-wheel drive one at that. So I'm not the expert here.
A gentleman that was very nice. I was just at Hallett Motor Circuit. Great track. Fantastic group, Caffeine and Gasoline. That had me out there. I know you were joking about that earlier, how it's cars,
everything
coffee.
has to be alliterative rhyme schemes with car shows.
Yeah. I do want to thank Kurt Rainbolt and the crew out there. A lot of folks for bringing me out.
I'm going to call mine Fenders and fuck you.
might not be as well attended, but we'll see.
You don't think so? I bet you.
It would have a different audience.
I bet you I could get people to show up to Fenders and fuck you.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Jesse James would be like, hell yeah.
I'm in.
Bring his fucking guns.
What was I going to say? So there was a bunch of guys out there that were offering me to drive their cars. I usually don't because I the liability that's involved.
Hell yeah.
But there was a 996 Turbo where I coached a gentleman and then hopped in, and that was a fun car. It was a lot of fun around that track. First time for me to actually be at that circuit, and really enjoyed it.
I think 996 Turbos drive weird. I don't like how they drive.
I mean, we're spoiled.
Do you know the numbers on this 718 GTS I've got outside? Do you think that car is faster than 996 Turbo? Because I think it is.
I mean, that's the great part about Porsche is that it gets better each time, right? So, 365 horsepower in that bad boy. It's got a great balance. Yeah, I mean, we just ripped around. We went over to go look at your upcoming parking garage.
I showed you my dirty hole.
Yeah, oh, hey, take it easy, man. We're still on the air here.
I showed you the ramp into my dirty hole. Jokes about that.
That looks awesome, and around this area, there's going to be a lot of demand for that, I'm sure. It's crazy what you're telling me the price is. I'm down in Orange County, and it's insane down there, but we do at least have parking kind of well sorted.
Oh, I put parking where there is no parking. This is why it's going to cost lots of money.
It's going to be good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the 996 Turbo, of course, it's not. We're spoiled, like I said. I do hot laps in the GT3 RS and in the new GT3. What do you think of the new GT3? How do you like that car?
I haven't driven the Point 2 yet. I am driving it on the 24th.
Okay.
I have the new Carrera T as a press car.
And I heard you like that.
I don't know. I mean, I know what it. I think it's like lightweight door panels and lightweight glass and a couple other sport options packaged onto a Carrera, right?
We've got to get you down to
affordable enthusiast option, I think.
Yeah,
and I'm doing that back to back with the new GT3 Touring. So we'll see which of the enthusiast models is.
Yeah, we should chat afterwards.
But I suspect the 4-cylinder Cayman GTS in a drag race, especially with PDK, would outdrag a 996 Turbo.
Yeah, I don't know the specs on that older 996.
It's fucking fast, this one.
Yeah, it is.
So
for the grand opening at the Porsche Experience Center LA, myself and Kyle Mohan, you should have him in here at some point. 1,000 horsepower.
Kyle, I had him on the show like a long time ago.
Okay, yeah, he's got 1,000 horsepower plus. I'm a rotary guy. I love the rotaries. Miata MX-5, and obviously there's been a little bit of work done.
Is it 1,000 horsepower?
Yeah, rotary powered.
Like a 4-rotor or something?
I think it's 3-rotor turbo, And so him and I were drifting on the outside of the wet circle. So we were in the dry in the Boxster S, so 350 horsepower, just lots of practice and a lot of lighting, and it was pretty wild. And then we had two buddies, I think Armin and in the center, and this is like a wet circle, and so they're going the opposite way in some Panameras, and just such a cool shot. But I love that car, and I think you do too. The 4-cylinder, the turbo.
I like the 4-cylinder. I like the wide power band of it.
Yeah.
I like the turbo shove. Like my friend, we're going out with this. My friend has a GT4, and we're gonna go out, and he is utterly convinced the GT4 would be faster than this GTS, and I am utterly convinced this GTS is faster than the GT4.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see.
I just think the GT4 is lovely, but I think it has a narrow power band and long gears, and this has a really wide power band which better suits the gearing it's been given, and I think it's faster. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I think that look, the fucking GT4 with an exhaust on it sounds awesome. It's an awesome sounding car. But like, what are you gonna do? Like, do you know what it would cost? You mean to make more power out of that 6-cylinder? What do you do, right? And then you can't just put the fucking same motor you get in the Carrera. That would be very un-Porsche to just give it exactly the same motor. They got to neuter it because of the Cayman complex, which is where you intentionally neuter cars because they're not as good as the cars that are more expensive. I call that
like I know, but I'm
no,
like,
that's the Cayman complex. I call that because there's no reason if Porsche were building, if every car they made were the best it could be. The Cayman would be faster than the 911, right? Because all other things being equal, it should be, right?
It's got a good balance to it. It's just you got mid-engine, right, versus rear engine, and we see the way things are changing on the racing side, right? The
fastest Porsche I've ever driven was a Cayman that had a fucking modified Coyote motor in the back of it.
How was that as far as
a 520?
Feel?
It felt like a Daytona prototype.
Okay.
It was crazy.
But it actually felt good handling? Like, did they tune it well?
It was nuts. It was
or
so...
was it scary? I would
no,
think
it had like
scary.
JRZ independent reservoir shocks.
So they tuned it.
And it was... Okay. I was shocked, dude. It was
you would think it's just the balance is going to be gone.
It was
like
can
that
you
great
pull up
feel
a picture, Tim? God, I can't remember of it. It's just Coyote swapped Cayman. It's a Gulf livery one, but it's super clean. Like, dude, it had air conditioning. They use the stock gearbox, so they said not to do a bunch of launches because they didn't know about that. But like, there it is, and that's it. It had fucking real tires on it and real suspension, and it had like partial cage, but it had air conditioning, and it was a SEMA build. I couldn't believe this thing, and they dropped it off at my house, and I drove it for 5 or 6 days, dailied it, went to the store, everything. Not a hiccup, not a problem. And I took it out up on the roads I go on, and it was, because listen, so they took out I don't know if it was a 2.7 or a 3.2. Look at that.
Yeah, look at that. That's just down there.
I don't know what the smaller motor was that they took out. There it is, but it was a really clean install in the back, and it's 525 horsepower. But the stock car's red line was like, I don't know, 7,200 or something. This red line at 84, so it was even higher.
It's a Boss 302 engine.
Yeah, it was a modified 3.0 Boss 302 motor, but that was the fastest I think Porsche I've ever driven, and it was just completely. Oh, that's it without the wrap. Wow. It was just completely batshit. So I do recommend
when you hear
that.
the sound, the double take that you're going to get on that, right? It's going to be insane.
It sounded like, like a prototype race car. It was super, super crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So there we go. Oh, last question before we kill the super chat for this show. How did we like the Federal tires? Kevin, you want to take this one?
Yeah. First off, I'd like to thank Federal Tires Official, and so do follow them on, and they supply. And I'll be honest, I speak on facts. That's just what I do from my position. It wouldn't be good for a lot of the folks I work for if I just gave you my opinion. So it's really up to you, like what you want to run. The Federal tires I use on my Mustang as exclusively as a drift tire, the RSR. I thought it was great. And
listen to those words carefully. Say that again. That sentence again.
Yeah, Federal tire RSR.
No, but the sentence you said before that. Use it exclusively.
On the drift car. Yeah,
okay,
so we slide those. Now the RS double Rs, which we used, those are a 200.
Which were the ones on the Miata?
RS
Double R.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Are a good track day tire. So I've used those on a bunch of track days. Used it on the Mustang as well, and some other cars, and very reliable grip overall. And I enjoy that tire for what it is. The price point on these tires is, I think it was like $118 per tire shipped.
They're really
crazy
low,
cheap. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so and it's I'll jump ahead, but if anyone wants to order any Federal tires, you can first off follow them on Federal Tire Official, and then go to or give a call to Express Tire Distributors, which is in Santa Ana. My buddy Marcus there, and he will send them out at wholesale for you. So that's all this month. Just mentioned Farah and Madsen, and you will get that deal.
Say that again. Where?
Yeah, it's Express Tire Distributors in Santa Ana, and so yeah, if
is that on your pad?
It is for later. Yeah, I've got a bunch of deals for everybody.
Okay,
I'll
put that in the description.
Yeah, I can shoot all this stuff to you. So yeah, just mention like I said, Farah and Madsen when you call in Express Tire Distributors, and you've got that wholesale deal. So the same deal that I get, you will get. Yeah, so. Overall, in a track day setting, fantastic. I'll turn it over to you. You drive a lot of tires, and we have some high budget tires that are next day.
So here's what's interesting about when I drive people's tires, like in one take videos, and I'm going in the canyons. Our water situation is so fucking shanty right now. When I drive people's cars in the canyons, I'm never pushing the limits of tires. So when I say a tire feels good in the canyons, it feels good at 5/10. It's not super loud. It's not doing anything, terrible, right? At a racetrack in track day or full-on racing conditions, you're seeing it at tire's limit. So I've had good experience with Federals on the street, and I think for the money they charge, they're good tires. I think if you want to use them at a racetrack, if you have a car that is not a ton of power, like a Miata or an FRS or something like that, if you want to explore your car's limits, we found they weren't as sticky as the other tires we've used. We switched to a Yokohama AD52, which was like 2 seconds quicker a lap. And we've also used Dunlop Dureza Star Specs on that car, which I thought were were better also, but I think both are noticeably more expensive. Yeah. The Yokos especially.
I'm not sure.
Jack said if we wanted to race on the Yokos again, we had to pay more.
Okay.
He was like, "How much do you like them?" Because if you want to race on them at Mid-O, you have to pay like $200 extra for the weekend.
I didn't get a chance to try those out on the track, so I don't know.
They felt nice.
Yeah, and
nice.
Of course. So the key that Jack was telling me was that the other ones, the Federals lasted all day, no problem. We didn't have to conserve those tires, so we pushed to the
Normally
end.
The Star Specs do too. We never have to rotate a tire during a race with the Star Specs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm not a huge Dunlop guy, but I happen to think those tires are really well matched to that car.
Yeah. So I don't know because I didn't get a chance to hop on the Yokohamas the next day, but he was telling me already, he's like, just so you know, on these tires, I'm putting you in last today, Kevin, and that's because you're going to have no tires left. You're going to need to kind of bring it home, which that's fine. I'm okay with that. He's great with the strategy, but it just shows, there's always going to be a give. One, you're going to pay a little bit more money, and shoot, I mean, I've not tried the tires, so I might love it.
Yeah,
but
I like the Yokohamas a lot. They didn't seem to fall off during the shift during my stint. I thought they were really, really nice, especially my first stint. They were really. Oh wait, no, Jesus, brain damage. Yeah, in the beginning of the stint, they were awesome. They didn't really seem to fall off. I thought
you're talking about the
Yokohamas. Yeah. The Federals were drifty.
Just less grip.
There was just less grip.
But going to last longer.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
When you have a 150 wheel horsepower car and you can drift it in third up a hill, which was fun actually.
I was going to say I like a car that's loose.
I enjoy that, just not
not
in a race condition. I enjoy it for a track day. Absolutely, give me the loose car for sure.
Yep. No,
but they were okay, but I preferred the Yokohamas. Were they? For the street, for the price difference, maybe not, but in a race, it easily could have been the difference between winning and losing.
Yep, for sure.
Let's wrap this one up with our Haggerty. So we got to deal with Haggerty. They're good people. I have to be really nice to them because I like all our friends work over there now, and they have the insurance thing. They've got their magazine, their print magazine, which I get every month. I love, and they have Haggerty.com where they have a blog and a Haggerty.com/newsletter where you can get the blog in newsletter form. And I wanted to we basically highlight an article from the newsletter and then just talk about it roughly. And that's sort of the shtiz. So, Tim, pull it up. This is an argument that the greatest car of the 2000s is the Corvette C6 ZR1. And you are a Z06 owner. You've done a lot of Corvette stuff, right? You've been on Spring Mountain?
Yeah, I've got a lot of buddies out there, actually.
And what is your opinion on the argument that the greatest car of the 2000s could be the Corvette ZR1?
Opinion-wise, it's tough. I mean, you can look at specs. Like I asked you this question. Actually, I turned it over to you, just like your viewers. If we said if you had to go set some track records out there, what car would you buy, and what as cheap as possible? And you kind of said the ZR1.
I think you pointed out, because was it for your friend who's looking for the automatic? Was that
this was a little bit of a different project we're working on for next year.
I think you said it was cheapest car with a paddle shift gearbox.
Yeah, exactly.
If you wanted to go set records, and I think Jack and I both decided the current ZR1, which is 120,000 ish, is probably we don't think you can get anything faster than that. You might be able to get like a used Porsche Turbo and modify it to that level, but it's so much power, and it's a lot of chassis. It's a lot of development work that goes into it. The C6 ZR1s, do you have any experience with those, or just your Z06 really?
No, I mean, I've coached in one, right seats, and I don't frequently try to jump over and drive them as well. It's faster than my Z06, right?
Yeah,
I try to get the Z06.
Does it hold up to track conditions, or does it overheat a bit? Did your client
the
get
C6
warm?
No, it was okay, and I mean the supercharger I think's adding obviously some more heat to that. The C7s I think had some issues, right? The Z06, well, I know at Exotics we had some issues for a while.
I think they wanted a certain horsepower number, and they wanted too many things. They bit off a little more than they could chew. We saw Ford made the same mistake. 2013, the GT500, the 660 horsepower one. It's not, there wasn't anything wrong with it, but it was very obvious that Carroll Shelby wanted 0 to 60 and under, at the time it was I think under 4 seconds, and then a top speed over 200 miles an hour, and he wanted to see those things from a Mustang before he died.
Got it.
And the way they went about doing that
just to hit those
was to put a crazy long first gear in the thing so you could hit 60 without shifting, and then I don't know.
Same as the Z06, C6 at least.
Yeah, I don't know if they actually ever. They said they hit 200, but nobody was ever able to replicate it. But fundamentally, it wasn't as good of a driving car as the Boss 302, which they sold at the same time. So I think the C6 Z06 is sort of the situation like that, where they wanted that 650. They wanted the certain things, but ultimately the breakdown is, holy shit, we don't have room for cooling in all air. So that's why you can't really turn one of those Z06s into a ZR1. If you want a ZR1, you have to start, because the aero is all different, and the cooling, it's so important.
But like we talked about, that ZL1 has that huge front air.
That was where we ended, wasn't it? We ended on ZL1 with a 10-speed.
You might be able to get close to the ZR1 with the ZL1, but save a bunch of money.
Yeah, if you did ZL1 automatic and then somehow got the 1LE aero package on there with the right wheels and tires.
And I did look it up afterwards. You're right. There's a lot more to the 1LE versus...
Same thing. Yeah, you couldn't just turn one in.
Yeah, there's other stuff. There's suspension tuning. And
yeah, but if you were going to race carify it, then you could get close, and you could make concessions in certain ways that could pay off more than if you tried to turn it into an actual ZL1. But the C6 ZR1, greatest car of the 2000s, I'm gonna have to disagree with you there, Bob. That's a tall order to make. I mean, it's a shitload of power, in a practical package. But greatest car of the 2000s.
So what do you got? Yeah, what would be
what's
yours?
better than? I mean, there's a lot. I'm trying to think of. I hate
these. It's so tough because I love. I mean, you get to drive even more cars than I do, but
I mean, like the 2002 Nissan Skyline R34 V-Spec, the 2002. I would take that. I think that's a better car than a ZR1. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I've not driven that specific car.
Yeah, 2007 Porsche 997 Turbo, better car. GT3 997 GT3, better car. Not as fast, but better car. I don't know. Stick shift 599 from 2007. That's badass.
Now Haggerty insures for track days. I mean, you probably already mentioned that, but
was it you who emailed me about that?
Maybe.
About the policy they have for like paddock, the track day.
Somebody
emailed me about a policy that's like it doesn't count while you're on the track, but like if someone hits your car in the paddock, it covers that. Whereas like if you're at a racetrack at all, some other policies won't cover you.
They have a track day insurance though, so I'm pretty sure we've used them for somebody that I was coaching. We were splitting duty driving the car, so we've used Haggerty. I won't mention it because Haggerty is what you're talking about, but there's some others out there too that you can use to rent, just for the day. So say you have your nice car and you can insure it up to a certain amount. I want to say like $100,000.
Yeah, do you know what is the premium for something like that? For
I don't want to misquote again because it's a partner of yours, but I want to say that we paid for 2 drivers 1 day time attack. It was like 300 something for like a $50,000 car.
That's not so bad.
Yeah, you just put in the amount of the car, and then you're going to be out. I think 10 or 20%.
Yeah.
Look at this. I'm already on the Haggerty team here. Apparently.
Well, look, don't officially quote us on the price.
No, take a look. Actually, it was really easy.
I just wanted to know if it was hundreds or thousands or what.
Yeah. No, but I want to say it was a $50,000 car. They took care of us. It was about $350 or so, $390 maybe, and it was maybe a 10% deductible if you do total the thing. But I've heard good things from those sort of companies, and it just gives you that little extra. Like if you are in a setting where you're maybe sharing the car with someone. That's why I wanted to do it. Was I didn't want to ball up somebody else's car.
For sure.
Yep.
Well, I just talked to them. They may want to insure my garage, which would be fucking.
Oh, really?
Man, I'd be so excited to have Haggerty insure my garage. To be the best.
And then you could offer that to the folks that are coming in there with their cars too.
Yeah, I'm sure, and they're kind of into it as well. So we'll see where it goes. But fingers crossed. Anyway, what do you want to? Let's finish this up. Let's get some
plug.
What can all these people get?
Yeah, that's what it's all about. So I'm not
codes.
just plugging stuff randomly.
No.
Exotics Racing, if you go online or call in, it's very easy. Just Google that. Summer 18. Use that. You're going to get an extra lap. So 5 laps out on track, and then we're throwing in an extra one for you. Summer 18 is the code.
Yeah, at Exotics Racing.
Yep.
Any car?
Yep. Any car.
What's the new shit they have over there?
The McLaren 570S is a lot of fun. You've got the Audi R8 V10 that you mentioned, the new one. Apparently, that's the quickest one out there. So I still have the track record in the McLaren, but apparently a guy who does some of that American Muscle Cup came out and got really close to my time in the Audi R8. But I haven't had a chance to drive that.
I need to run a lap.
Yeah, come out. You'd be quick.
Do you have a 720?
We don't. We got the 570S is the only McLaren we have currently out in LA. But there's a bunch of others.
Does it work good out there under the customer conditions?
It does. Yeah, the McLaren 570S, the things that you see go wrong with it are like, the windows sometimes don't want to go. Like the electronics. Like they haven't built production cars for decades. It's been race cars forever. So
720, I have to say, I only had one electronic hiccup in the whole week I had it.
One of my coaching clients has one, and they don't they're okay with it. It's the funny part is the guys that own these,
McLaren. The customers.
They don't care. Like, it's just going to drop that one off. I'm going to go back to and drive my 570, and so it doesn't make too much of a difference because they're just so into the brand, which I think is so cool.
It is cool, but honestly, anyone who's an enthusiast is going to be an apologist for that brand's faults. I'm not better than that. I feel it. Yeah, exactly.
Same way.
Yeah. Tesla owners are the biggest by far,
earlier,
but McLaren owners, I can imagine, like being a McLaren owner, even though you're very rich to own one of those, it does feel a bit like supporting an underdog. A bit.
Yeah, I would say that. And then you if you own one, you probably don't have to worry about if that car's in the shop, do you have another one? You've definitely got another one. So that's why they don't really care
that
too
too.
much. So
that too.
Excellent. So some of the other places I work with, OMP Racing Gear, check them out. I mentioned that just because they supplied me a really good racing suit this past weekend, which was, I was really amazed about how cool it was. Hotter than heck.
It was hot.
It really was. So I did good for 3 hours in that bad boy.
I think I need to get a different suit. I only have a
What were you running? I was going to ask you that.
I have a Sparco suit that I really like, and it's very comfortable, and it fits me well, and I've always worn Sparco suits, and I'm happy with this suit, but it's clearly a colder weather suit, and I really need to get a hot weather suit.
Especially the light color. They recommended Eric Skirman's who's out there, who's moving on
light color.
Yeah, but it's. I know mine was so dirty. But think about it in the sun. We were in the convertible.
Dirty, bro. And fat people, you don't wear a white onesie when you're.
You think you're gonna Michelin
when
man
you're 270? You're too close to the Michelin man. I could call Will Turner and see if he's got like an old Paul Dall'Anna suit laying around. I could have So I'm sorry about that, folks. Listen to me readjust my mic. I think My next, if I buy another suit, it's got to be awesome. I want to have an awesome suit. I'm tired of just having a regular black suit. So my next suit,
there's a couple options.
I might legit call Will Turner and have him make me a Turner suit because I'm a huge Will Turner and Turner BMW fan of their team. I don't give a shit about the cars so much, but like I just love Will. So if he'll let me wear a Turner suit,
it'd be neat.
I would love to. So I might just call him. He might, because I'll call him. Can you make me a suit? And he'll be like, send me 1 case of tequila. That's okay. And that's how I'll end up with that, But
nice.
If anyone makes an awesome suit out there, what else you got?
What else I got? So Porsche Experience Center LA.
That's a good one.
If you want to come out there, I will give you an off-road tour. So this is something if you will add on if you purchase a package. So I'll give you an off-road tour as well. It sounds maybe like, okay, you're going to drive me around in the Cayenne. That's not too crazy, but it actually scares people more than even me giving you a hot lap because of how capable those vehicles are. So that's something that we'll throw in for the listeners.
Do you do the three-wheel motion?
Yeah, the articulation. It's more so that when you go off that blind decline, and we don't get specifics on how steep it is, but it's pretty crazy steep. So you can book that. You go to PorscheDriving.com and then just mention Kevin Madsen and that he's going to give you an off-road tour. And if I'm not there, because I do travel a lot, then I will get one of my other good buddies like Dieter or Mark Wilson.
Don't
or
get in the car with Dieter.
And they'll take care of you. So that is good. Hooked on Driving. We talked about you loved it when you went to Sonoma. So
I did. They were pros.
Excellent. Yeah, David Ray is fantastic. Another one of my mentors, very close to the Ross Bentley, and they've got me into the MSF, Motorsport Safety Foundation, and a big involvement there.
Is that the same as Motorcycle Safety Foundation?
No, different. Yeah, this is the one
They're
where you
also
get certified.
MSF. That's fucking annoying. They couldn't decide like. They couldn't be MCSF and MSF.
I guess, yeah.
Oh my God,
I'm not there in that
guys.
capability. So anyhow, Hooked on Driving, totally recommend them across the country. I've been to a number of the events. It's like when going to any chain, but a really good chain, right? When you travel across the country, you want to go and make sure that everything's going to be the same. You can trust that item on the menu, and that's the cool part. Is you go down to the southeast, you go to the northeast, you're going to get the same thing, and you saw it in the northwest here. Is that
what you're really looking for is like the seal of approvals of it being organized and safe.
2 million miles without any car-to-car contact, stuff like that. You can't say that for some of the other organizations, which are a lot cheaper, but you're also getting the catered lunches here. You're getting coaches that you saw, and I always like to mention the coaches that are there are pros to a certain extent. Some of these guys are like me, where this is all they do for their living.
Mike Musto, our friend Mike Musto, coaches for Hooked on Driving. We love him.
Yeah, great guys, and they've got to go through training to even do that. They're not there for free track time. They're each paid. Everybody that's a coach there for HOD is paid. A lot of good insurance. Anyhow, so if you want to book Hooked on Driving, go to hookedondriving.com anywhere across the country. Specifically, if you want to go to Thunderhill in August, you'll see a date, or Laguna Seca in September. I will throw in a free coaching session myself. So that's one session with me in the car, right seat with you, and we'll work on some things, and you can take that and we can build.
And it costs more than you normally costs more than the $5 he did it for on this fucking show.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll pay your normal registration. I'm throwing that in free for those 2 particular events. Fast and Speed, the Crosskarts, you hopped in those. Just a blast. I get to see you smile.
So wait, people can arrive and drive those?
They can. They can arrive and drive those. And so same thing, I'm throwing in a free coaching session if you want to come out. So say you've never driven something on dirt, I'm going to be there to actually work with you.
Literally the most fun thing you could drive. I don't think I've ever driven any vehicle that was more fun than the 750 Crosskart. It was so fun.
And if anyone that's watching,
I was mobbing. I got pretty comfortable pretty quick.
And I'm not just blowing smoke here. Watch the video, folks, online, and that's him in the car the whole time. You can see the helmet, and it's amazing. Driving, son. Yeah, it was amazing what you were doing out there. So I'll throw in a free coaching session there. We're doing an event August 11th. So actually, right after that August event for Hooked on Driving up at Thunderhill, and then my final race of the year is July 28th, and I'm still filling some seats for that. So if you're interested in doing that, you can hit me up. Awesome. And that's at Madsen Motorsports on Instagram. These are the reasons why to follow me. Like a lot of drivers out there, and you're like, do I want to follow this guy? I'm just going to be jealous of what he's doing each day.
He
follow
gets
me
you in the seats.
Yeah, exactly. I post about some other opportunities. Sometimes it's even mechanic jobs or cameraman jobs on some of the film sets that I'm on. But that's one of the reasons why to follow us on Instagram and Facebook and that sort of thing. What else? So we talked about Crosskarts, Federal Tires we already talked about, so I appreciate their support. Express Tire Distributors in Santa Ana. Again, they'll give you wholesale this month if you call in and mention Farah and Madsen. And last one here as we GeForce Racing helmets I mentioned too, just fantastic job. Taylor's out here. Taylor Postel.
I might hit up GeForce because you know why? I need a new open face for on camera.
Oh yeah.
So I need a new, and then I need you to point me in the direction of your favorite local painter. Because I have a fun idea that I want to execute. My Donald Trump helmet is no bueno anymore.
I was going to say, I loved it when you came to EXR with that, but now it has a different connotation.
I can't, and my girlfriend won't even let me like display it in the house. So she doesn't want to see it. She wants it fucking gone. I may auction it off for charity.
I was going to say, if you do that,
if I auction it off for charity, and maybe I'll donate the fucking proceeds like the ACLU or somebody just doing some actual good.
The last one I want to say is because we're running out of time. What are you rocking for a watch today?
I'm wearing the IWC perpetual calendar.
We talked a lot about watches, so I brought the.
What is that?
It's the Waypoint watch from my buddy Mike Bonanni. What is
the Waypoint watch about? Let me see.
Let me pop it off here. And
people get mad when you talk about watching the show, but I don't give a fuck, son.
What's the watch podcast? Let's plug that, man.
It's called Watch and Listen podcast, and you get it on iTunes, on Google Play Music. You get it on wherever you get your podcasts, and of course on YouTube.
So this is the Waypoint watch. What's it about? Waypoint Traveler, and this one here, different price point, I think, a little bit than what you're rocking on the wrist.
This is a quartz watch. This is gonna be cheaper.
Yep, and you got the Apex blue on there, which I like. It matches the Madsen Motorsports logo. You got the nice little band there, which
hold
is
hold it up to this camera.
Yeah, this one, which is very this one right here.
Is it that?
Oh, that one.
There we go. Can we kind of see that there?
No, sorry, is it this?
Oh, it's that. Yeah. It's
that.
Okay,
on my
Instagram.
There,
just pull up a picture.
Perfect. Yeah, and the Z06.
Your friend
there.
makes these?
Yeah. So he does. He's a driver as well. That's why I like to support any drivers out there and good guys. He's worked with exotics in the past. Does a lot of other driving. Did a BMW drive at 25. So yeah,
so you got the hookup?
This is the Waypoint Traveler, and this is about $150.
That's cheap.
Yeah. So good
That's
stuff.
cheap. That's for $150. That's a quality watch.
Yeah,
good for you, sir. Cool. Thanks,
That's
Kevin.
it, my man.
Good
so they'll get you a
in.
deal. Sorry, like I said, you go on, you contact them.
Those
through
are
the
all
contact
deals.
button, they'll get you some deals. We'll put it up.
They're all deals. We'll put all that in the video description. All right, cool, man. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
and if I hope I see you before Mid Ohio, but if I don't see you before Mid Ohio, I hope I see you at Mid Ohio. I fucking hope Ross Bentley will show up.
That'd be cool.
That'd be so badass. I just would love to see how close I could get. You know what I mean? If I got even within 2 seconds, I'd be the happiest person on the planet.
Yep. And the thing is, if you think about it, like Vince Lombardi never played professional football. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
So, but he was the best coach, arguably, in the NFL. So you don't necessarily need to be the best driver to be a really good coach. However, Ross is actually a really good driver and a
It
really
helps.
good coach. Yeah.
It does help. I mean, unless you're a data analyst, driving it's different. You're not, you don't have to be Shaq, to coach basketball. It's a strategy thing and whatever.
You need to know what's going on, but it's the same.
Driving, you don't really have much of an excuse. If you're a good driver coach and you know what to do, there's no reason you couldn't execute those things in a car yourself.
True. I guess I would just say that, there's some coaches out there where they're really good coaches, but they haven't had the means to be racing IndyCar. They, I don't have the height for that.
Oh, you don't have to have a wall full of top level trophies.
Yeah, your driving could be pretty solid.
But if you get in a car, you should be pretty fucking fast.
Yeah. People expect it. It's a different industry.
If you're an instructor and you get in a car and you wrote a book called Speed Secrets, you better be pretty
and he moves.
quick.
I saw him drive. He drove David Ray's Mustang up at the West Course at Thunderhill, and he was scooting, man.
I'm sure he has an open. I told him on his show he's an absolute open invite, and love to have him in this room anytime he wants. But of course, thank you for coming. Thank you to your lovely wife Judy for taking. I'm gonna post on Instagram.
So like that you said, wife. We're still.
She's not wife.
Boyfriend, girlfriend.
Sorry,
but good stuff.
Lady,
no, good.
wife, not wife. My bad. Pre-wife. She took a lot of pictures at AER. I'm gonna put a bunch of them on Instagram, and you guys got me that lovely framed one. I'm gonna hang in here, and then bring over to the new building. If you're interested in car storage in LA, give me a buzz, Matt at thesmokingtire.com. I got you back. If you want to be the closest to the beach, the closest to LAX, in a place designed by me specifically for collector cars, Westside Collector Car Storage is going to be where it's at. And I'm going to be full before we open the doors. And once I open the doors, I'm closing the doors. Because unlike other car storage places, I don't want to be a nightclub. I don't want to be a wedding venue. I don't want to be a photo studio. I am only opening the doors to people who have cars in there, not to fans. Sorry, fans. But So that's the thing. A lot of these venues, they make side money by
LA, yeah.
having parties or whatever, and I'm not going to do
Other
that.
things that you mentioned when where was that at? Where we were talking about some filming that had maybe gone down.
Oh yeah, no, I don't even think he's mad about it. The Magnus porno, you guys have seen that, right? It's hard to find. I don't know how you would find on the internet, but like,
talk about a plug. This is going a different.
Magnus
way.
Walker, he's made his money over the years by having filming locations, some of which have been porn. And so someone sent me a video that was really, really funny.
This is now going to trend
of
on,
some
on,
porno,
on, incognito Google, if that's possible.
with a certain series of very recognizable Porsche parked behind it. It's fucking hilarious. So if you find it, good for you. And Magnus he's not in it. Don't get me. It's just like there's some like. Really uniquely styled 60s 911s in the background of this porno shoot. And I'm like, oh, that wood floor looks familiar. So, yeah. But, that's how you buy cars like that. By fucking location. Thank you, Timmy.
You're welcome, buddy.
Thank you for producing, Timmy. Thank you, live audience, for joining us. We appreciate it, and for your super chats and your donations and things like that. Eventually, we hope the super chats can supersede the ads, and then we'll get rid of ads. I promise I will if it happens, but so far not happen, but it's okay. It's still much appreciated from this end. Madsen Motorsports, look him up. He is available for hire as a hot shoe on your race team, as well as a coach, and you can see him in all those places. The links in the descriptions we'll put. Kevin Madsen, thanks for joining us, brother.
Thanks, buddy.
See you at Mid-O.
Yeah.
Goodbye.